Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, get your cocktails ready. It's time for the show. Countdown initiated.
A little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
Whoops. Hey, get yours indeed. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Get yours today. In fact, you can get your Old Humble Distilling Company delicious whiskey online at oldhumbledistilling.com/shop online. Order yours today. Get it delivered to your door. Use the coupon code MAKEIT2. Make it two. I think I have it in chat I think I have it in the comment section or the description of the show. Maybe not. I might not have in the description of the show. If I don't have in the description of the show, you just need to know to do it, and you know to do it because you heard it from me. I'm the Old Humble guy, owner and operator of this here facility, the Old Humble Distilling Company. The Old Humble Distilling Company. We make fine whiskeys. Oh, my hippie lamp isn't on. Fix that. My lamp on? Yeah, my lamp's on. We make. There we go. Move this over here. There we go. We make award-winning whiskeys at the Old Humble Distilling Company. That's what I do. That's what we do. Look at this. We all set over here. Live. There we go. I'm trying to make sure my monitor is live over here and caught up with the show. We make award-winning whiskeys. That's what we do here at the Old Humble Distilling Company. And cheers to our viewers. I'm watching my monitor over here. It's doing weird things. It shouldn't be doing weird things, but it's doing weird things. Bear with me just 1 second. Bear with me. I'm trying to see if we are having technical difficulties or not. I'm not seeing the technical difficulty on the output. I'm just seeing technical difficulty on the monitor. So this is having technical difficulties, but this is not having technical difficulties. So that's cool. Okay, I'm cool with that. So let's have our opening shot. I'm the Old Humble guy. This is the Old Humble Distilling Company's happy hour. Happy hour has begun. $1 shots all night long. If you throw $1 into chat or $1 into a super chat, I will take a shot. How about that? $1 in super chat, and I'll take. No, we can't do $1 shots. $2 shots. We'll do $2 shots. Every $1 you throw into super chat puts your name on the wheel of doom and glory for our whiskey giveaway next month. Next month is October. We're doing a whiskey giveaway in October. What I will do is I will spin the wheel of doom and glory. Every person who gets into chat gets their name on the wheel of doom and glory. Every person who gets their name into chat gets their name on the wheel of doom and glory. Every week when we do a happy hour, every time I do a live broadcast, you get your name into chat. You get your name on the wheel of doom and glory. Your name's on the wheel of doom and glory. We spin it. Can you get your name on the wheel of doom and glory several times? Absolutely. Every week you're in chat. You get your name on the wheel of doom and glory again. It has now been, I think this is our 5th week, so there are folks that have their name on the wheel 5 times. Then, can you get your name on the wheel more often than that? Absolutely. Every $1 super chat you offer me gets your name on the wheel of doom and glory 1 more time. So $1, 1 time. $5, 5 times. $10, 10 times. You want to rig the whole system? Drop $100. Your name's on the wheel of doom and glory 100 times. The more you enter, the better your chance to win. And there's no purchase required. You show up for chat. You say, "Hey, I want to be on the wheel." you're on the wheel. That's how easy it is. Simple, easy, pure, and plain. And because it's happy hour, we're doing $2 shots. Throw in a $2 super chat. Tell me to take a shot. I'll take a shot. We start with our opening shot. The Old Humble Distilling Company's Boomtown Bourbon. We start with our opening shot. Cheers to you, my good friends. Opening shot, opening toast. May the wind always be at your back and the road rise to your feet and your travels be swift and pleasant. Cheers to all of you fine folks. All right. That's one down the hatch. And now we fill our cocktail for the night because it is happy hour. And we are drinking our Boomtown Bourbon. There's our bottle of the Boomtown Bourbon. We have 4 different whiskeys that we sell. 4 different whiskeys. Do I have a picture of our 4 different whiskeys? Ooh, you know what? I bet I do. Let me go to my sources. Put that down there on my charger. There we go. Do I have a picture? I'm going to add a new picture. Image. Family photo? Yeah, that's the one. All right, let's find that image. It's a pretty picture, too. I'm proud of this picture. So we're going to use this picture. Got to find it. Got to browse for it. Might have a little bit of lag while I look. No, we don't. Not at all. SDC imagery. There it is. So yeah, we have 4 different bottles that we, 4 different labels that we sell. Our Boomtown Bourbon, our Double Oak Straight Rye, our Special Reserve, and our Straight Whiskey. Are we going to do the square photo? Yeah, we'll do the square photo. We'll make it square. That'll be perfect. And like I said, we're going to give away, our whiskey giveaway will be at the end of the month. And at the end of the month, we will give away a sample of each one of these. Ooh, that's huge. That's what she said. We'll give away a sample of each one of these bottles. Put this the right size. Get it where it belongs. There we go. Getting warmer. Live TV, folks. Live TV. There it is. 3 of the 4. Oop, wrong thing there. 3 of the 4 are evident. Ooh, the 4th one is peeking in there. Where are we at? There we go. All 4 bottles right there. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that beautiful picture. That beautiful picture of our delicious whiskey right there. Our Boomtown Bourbon is the blue label. Our Double Oak Rye is the green label. The black label is our Special Reserve. And the purple label is our Straight Whiskey. We will be giving away a sample pack of all 4 of those whiskeys with the Wheel of Doom and Glory. And the way that's going to work is at the beginning of next month, I will spin the wheel once. When I spin the wheel once, that is the spin of doom. The name that comes up on the spin of doom comes off the wheel. Then I spin it a second time, and the name that comes up the second time is the glory, the winner of the giveaway. The Wheel of Doom, the Wheel of Glory. We give away one, we take away one, we give away the other. So there you go. If your name is only once on the wheel, you have a chance of being eliminated in the Wheel of Doom. But if your name is on there multiple times, then you get a chance of winning and being a successful winner of a sample pack of our delicious whiskey. So there you go. And that's that update. What is our next update? Our next update is the build out will begin in 2 weeks. I have 1 more week of travel where I'm going between Dallas and San Antonio and parts of Houston and Fort Worth. A week and a half, actually. About 10 more days of traveling back and forth between Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio and Austin. And then once I'm done with that, then I'm going to focus on the build out of the distillery, building out the tasting room, adding in the walls that need to be added in, getting the electrical put in, and then finally finishing up with the last bits, the finishing bits that we need to finish up with. What is going on over here? Is that, I'm looking, my monitor's acting weird on this side. It's lagged by, looks like several minutes. Sorry guys, this is technical difficulty theater. It's no longer live. Come on, be live. My monitor is not live. I'm trying to get my monitor to be live so I can keep up with the analytics as I watch over here. And basically what I'm doing right now is stalling for time to get more people to come in. So if you're watching right now and you're seeing me just kind of stumble around, that's because I'm stalling for time. I'm trying to get the monitor live. My output seems to be normal. The actual output on the YouTube feed, that seems to be normal. So there we go. We're live over here. Uh, that's I'm hoping. No, we've had some issue. We've had some legitimate issues with our router in the last few days. So I'm trying to make sure that we're good to go, 100%. But it is definitely the router and not my computer. I know that for a fact. Uh, I think I know that for a fact. I'm not sure. Anyway, what's the other update? The build out going to be starting, and then for Christmas time, the last 2 or 3 months of the year, we will launch our membership program. We'll launch our membership program at the Old Humble Distilling Company, and the membership program will be. Well, I haven't quite figured that out yet. There will be members only programs, members only shows, live music from the distillery, possibly game shows from the distillery, possibly karaoke from the distillery. I've always said that if I do karaoke, if I announce that we're doing karaoke at the distillery, send help because that means I've been kidnapped and I am reading something that I'm trying to alert my friends to let them know that I've been kidnapped without alarming the kidnappers because I hate karaoke. I hate it with a passion. I don't need to hear people warbling off key, screaming into a microphone, and when the music's going in the background. I don't need to hear that. I can listen to the actual music just fine. That's actually also kind of one of the pet peeves I have with people lip syncing, or not even lip syncing, singing over background tracks at concerts. It's like that's just karaoke. Like y'all y'all are just doing karaoke. You're good at karaoke, Ariana Grande, but it's really just karaoke. You're just singing over a background track. I mean, come on. We don't need that. Nobody needs to hear that. Nobody. Get that fixed? Yeah, we got that fixed. So what else? What else do I need to do? I'm trying to stall for time. Like I said, I usually go run my monologue for about 20 minutes, and then I go into the topic, do updates for 15 to 20 minutes, then go into the topic. The topic of the day is how America got stupid. I guess I could just go ahead and launch into it. Let me go ahead and hide this. Anything else I need to show? That's the 34 states that we're available in if you order us online. oldhumbledistilling.com/shop online. Make it 2. You get 2 bottles sent to you with no shipping charge. Vanessa Kitty's in the house. Cheers, Vanessa Kitty. Add the name to the wheel of doom and glory. Vanessa Kitty's name gets added. She's in. Vanessa Kitty. But yeah, those are the 34 states, as you can see, of where our whiskey can be shipped. Order 2 bottles with the coupon code MAKEIT2, and you will get those bottles shipped to your house with no delivery charge, which is a pretty damn good deal because the delivery charge is like $16. And I did see a pricing error on the online store. My special reserve is $5 cheaper than it is supposed to be. So get it while you can at $5 cheaper, and wait a couple of days, and then the whatchamacallit, the straight rye will be raised by $5 because it's supposed to be reduced by 5. Yeah, the straight whiskey is supposed to be 45. It's selling online at 40, so you get a $5 discount on the straight whiskey or the special reserve right now. The rye is supposed to be $40 and it's selling at 45. So do what you must. Do what you must. I'll have that fixed in a couple of days. However long it takes for the price change to go through. Anyway, let's go ahead and hide that. We'll go to the topic of the day. Topic of the day is how America got so damn stupid. And this is in no way, shape, or form intended to be a insult to the fine men and women who worked on recovery efforts, rescue efforts, at the World Trade Center, or the first responders who lost their lives, or the first responders who lost their lives since then from the recovery efforts and the complete and total disregard of their health by the people in charge of making sure that their health matters. It has nothing to do with those people. In fact, it doesn't even specifically have anything to do with the terror attacks specifically. But this is, we're on that week with the 9/11 anniversary, the September 11th anniversary. Today's the 13th. Today is 21 years ago today. Me and my wife were probably spending the day sitting by the pool at the hotel that we were stranded at in Fort Lauderdale because we still could not get a flight home. We were supposed to be flying home on the 11th, and we were still stuck in the damn hotel as of today because the 11th, I believe, was a Monday. I think it was a Monday. It might have been a Tuesday, which means today would have been Thursday. Actually, today, Thursday, I think today was the day we might have been leaving town because of tropical storm was heading into towards Florida. So it was either today or tomorrow that we actually left town. Can't remember. Can't remember exactly the timeline. But I do know that we spent several more days at the hotel, just kind of in a blur because there was no food available. The only food you could get was Domino's from down the street. All we sit in the room all day, watch TV, and the only thing on TV was the news, and the only thing on the news was the World Trade Center bombing or attacks. And one day I was like, let's go. We just went downstairs and sat by the pool all day instead of sitting in the room watching TV. We sat down by the pool and listened to the radio, ate pizza. That's it. That's all we did for 3 days. I think it was probably 3 days, which means tomorrow, the 14th, would have been the day we left town because the hurricane was coming. We couldn't. And that was because the flights were grounded for 3 days. The hurricane was coming, and this was the day. Thursday was the day that flights were relocated, and we were supposed to be able to get on a flight the next day. And the next day, all the seats were taken. We had tickets, but all the seats were taken. So we were just like, screw it. And we drove a little Spider convertible back from Fort Lauderdale to Houston 2 weeks after we got married. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That doesn't matter. That's not the story that matters. That's not the story. That's not how America got stupid. That's not the story that matters. The story that matters on how America got stupid was, and this is how conspiracy theories were ruined for everybody. Up until this point, you could do fun time research into conspiracy theories and just be all like, academically curious, intellectually curious about the Illuminati. You could be intellectually curious about Masons. You could be intellectually curious about these conspiracy theories and know that they existed, but not have them be a part of your world, right? You could be all like, this is interesting. Let's look at this. The Rothschild gold conspiracy from World War I and World War II. You could look at the conspiracies of the Demi Lovato was that's well after this time, but that was, can't tell you how many stupid rabbit holes that I've had to go down researching information about this show. But the funny, haha, silly kind of conspiracies like birds are robots. That's kind of been a fairly modern day conspiracy theory. But that like all the world government's controlled by one people. They're tracking you with radio waves. That's like haha funny. That's not really real. Everybody knows that's not really real. It's just silly, silly stuff, right? Everybody knows that's not real, right? That's just silly, silly stuff, right? We all know that's not real, right? Right? I don't need to worry about. Okay. Right around this time, September 11, 2001, the internet was coming into its own. It was, the dot-com world. We'd gone through the end of the 90s, the rise of the World Wide Web. There was a point in time, the mid 90s, late 90s, where we didn't have a World Wide Web. We didn't have Google as we know it today. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have YouTubes. We didn't have all this stuff. It seems like we've had all this stuff forever. But we didn't have all this stuff at the end of the 1990s. We didn't. It wasn't, the world wasn't as interconnected today It wasn't as interconnected back then as it is today. Today, it is so deeply interconnected. It's so deeply interconnected. Even if all your stuff is private, you post on somebody else's uh, you post on somebody else's post, you comment on it, say, "Hey, that looks cool, sis," and then like somebody knows that you're that person's brother or that's your sister, and then they can track you through them, right? So ridiculously interconnected. We are so interconnected today, and that's a fairly modern phenomenon. Back in the late 1990s, we weren't this interconnected. We could entertain silly ideas and thoughts without them becoming part of our personality, without diving down that rabbit hole and being curious, out of intellectual curiosity, going, what is the single bullet theory? And then 3 days later, your eyes are bloodshot and red and dry because you've been staring at the computer screen for 72 solid hours reading conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy, and now you're a true believer, just because you were intellectually curious about something about the Kennedy assassination. Now the algorithm picks up on that, and they're like, oh, well, maybe you like this and this and this and this and this. And now all of a sudden, 3 days later, you're all bloodshot and emaciated, and you're all in on the election steal, and Wayfair is delivering babies in filing cabinets to people who ordered the Jenny or whatever crap, right? Okay. It wasn't like that in the 90s. It wasn't like that in the 1990s. Let's just set that as a premise. You just accept it. Y'all are too young to know, that's fine. Just accept that as a premise. Vanessa, you're not too young, but others, y'all are too young to know. Just accept it. 2001 rolls around, and this is the first opportunity for these Alex Jones conspiracy theory dipshits to weave a full on narrative of something remarkably stupid. This is not aliens in Roswell. This is not Area 51 stuff. This is not anything like that. This is a real live event that happens in real time, partially on live TV, unfolding in real time in front of our face as it's happening. We see it with our own eyes. We're trying to process the information as it's happening. The news readers are trying to process the information as it's happening. They don't get all the information right as it's going, as it's going on. They see one thing, they mention it, an eyewitness says something, and they carry that forward and they talk about it. And like in the initial phases of the attacks that some of us lived through and saw, like the information was just flying at us and at a velocity that was hard to comprehend and hard to keep straight. And certain opportunistic dildos take advantage of that, and they weave this ridiculously stupid conspiracy theory. And this is the point where America suddenly becomes stupid. This is the point. I think this is my thesis. This is the argument. This is the monologue. This is the point at which Americans, it is learned, will believe any fucking thing you tell them. Anything at all. Any goddamn nonsense you throw their way, they'll believe it. And it starts here. This is the single biggest event, the first major event that happens in the true interconnected internet space, in the internet world, the truly connected social media world that we live in. This is the first major event. And like I said, opportunistic dildos take advantage of it. This is where Alex Jones sows his own, really starts to come into his own. This is where those 9/11 truther pricks figure out that they can make money off of morons. This is the genesis. This is the nexus. This is the point at which things are possible, like Sandy Hook, like well, not Sandy Hook, the Sandy Hook truther nonsense, the birther nonsense, the caravans bullshit that we saw in 15 years after this thing happens, the stories about them finding prayer rugs and Qurans at the border in 2015. Um, sto- this is where stories about election interference and rigging in 2020, the 2020 elections. This is they straight line back to this point, September 11, 2020 or 2001, when the interconnected world, when information is just flying at us at warp speed, the speed of absolute information is just flying at us like you're standing in front of a fire hydrant that is just wide open and just blowing water at you the whole time. And there's a handful of people just trying to get their hands around it and say, "Oh my God, this is what's happening. This is what. Where there's another plane. Oh my God, how many more planes are there? Do we even know how many planes are grounded? Where are the planes grounded at? What are the human?" Blah, blah, blah. And in all of this chaos and all of this information overload, a handful of jackoffs come up with this stupid story of Mossad and inside job and explosives planted in buildings and a demolition and jet fuel won't melt steel and all the other nonsensical bullshit that comes out of these stupid 9/11. We had a 9/11 commission report that goes on a detailed timeline, follows the path of all of these. And yet, for a solid 20 years, these idiotic stories persisted. These idiotic theories, these idiotic ideas, even now, 22 years on, it's, you gotta look, because the algorithms don't, I mean, the algorithms were being very, very nice to these things in the early days. The algorithms aren't so nice to them now. And y'all got to understand, when I do research for shows like this, trying to find out more about the story and how the story, like when I was doing the flat earth, the stories about the flat earth a year or so ago, wrecks my timeline, wrecks my For You pages, completely wrecks my shit for like a month until I can get this back under control. Things I do for you people. The things I do for you people. Super chats, $1. Get your name on the wheel of doom and glory. But this was the nexus. If this was the Loki episode, this would be one of those nexus points where you see the timelines shooting off from that point. If this was a Loki episode, this isn't a Loki episode. But this is the point where we discovered that Americans will believe anything. Americans will believe any fucking nonsense. Americans will believe that the plane that we saw on live TV crash into a building was not a plane. That it was real time photoshopped in with technology that didn't exist. That people standing on the street didn't see what they saw. That a whole plane that ran into the building of the Pentagon that people saw was actually a missile. A giant fucking missile, apparently. That the actual plane that had people on it who were making phone calls, who were human beings that crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, didn't exist. This is the point where we realized Americans will believe any goddamn thing. And if any single event, if I could go through a catalog of things of any single event, like if we could go back and stop something from happening to prevent Donald Trump from being president, I dare say that it may not have even been the terrorist attacks. Although we could go back and stop the terrorist attacks, that would be cool. But the single event that led to that fucking moron becoming a president of our United States is the invention, the creation of these stupid fucking conspiracy theories. The Alex Jones and the other jack-off players of the world who take advantage of stupid people. Alex Jones and the other 9/11 truther morons, Joe Rogan included, because I think he was among their ilk for a while. If you could go back and look at one event that cultivated the stupidity of people who will believe absolutely anything. And honest to God, gullibility is a muscle that gets flexed. You have to practice gullibility. You have to look at things that are absolutely stupid and go, okay, I'll choose to believe that fucking nonsense. Like we've got to suspend everything we know about literally everything to believe that crews went in to 2 functioning 100-floor office buildings and planted explosives overnight because they had to work at night. They couldn't work in the middle of the day, right? For weeks, they were working to plant explosives in these buildings to bring the buildings down. All right, I can't stare into the light that long. But that's my are you fucking kidding me look? To that one eye. That's all you get. And then nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. Crews were doing the work. Normal, regular guys were doing the work. And they were like, yeah, whatever, it's normal. I'm just putting explosives in a fucking office tower that everybody's working in. No big deal. I'm sure they'll evacuate the tower. That's the first level of ridiculous fucking stupidity that we've got to believe. Are you kidding me? Are you like that? Like if you get a contract to do something in the World Trade Center, like you're not telling people about that? You're not talking about that? I mean, really? And all of the really dumb things that have happened since then. Operation Jade Helm and the counter operation that fucking Greg Abbott did. That was because the absolutely believing any nonsensical bullshit started at 9/11. And now, and yeah, we believed nonsensical bullshit before that. You believed your dad loved you. Kidding, kidding. Your dad actually loves you. And he's definitely coming back from that trip to the store to get cigarettes. But too soon? Was that cold? Sorry, I'm just playing. But we believed it. We believed a lot of nonsense. We bought into the myth, the American mythology. We believed in the all the stuff about the Texas Revolution. And Davy Crockett came to Texas because he was a hero and he wanted to help them. He came to Texas for money. He was a businessman. let's not fool ourselves here. All right. James Fannin was a jackass. I don't think he was a traitor anymore. James Fannin was probably just an idiot and got lucky in the United States. Came to Texas where conditions were much harsher and unable. Luck was not on your side because you weren't in the conditions to make luck. It's easy to be lucky when you're fighting Indians who don't have the same technology that you have. Or easy to be good, I guess. It's easy to be lucky and look good, regardless. Yeah, I was out. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. We probably ought to talk about that in March or April when Fannin on the anniversary of his death. But anyway, We believe in all kinds of dumb American mythology that if we look at it for more than a couple of minutes, we know that it's just not true. But we accept the mythology, right? We accept it. Like we believe in all kinds of nonsensical bullshit. But it's nonsensical bullshit for an altruistic purpose. I guess we could go that route. You know, that George Washington cut down a cherry tree and said, I could not lie and admitted his guilt. Oh, yeah, it's a thing that really happened. Come on, people. Really? You're gonna die on that hill? Is that what you're gonna do? Come on. This is crooked. Can I go this way? There we go. That's better. That's more like it. Make me centered. Center screen. Um, but we like our myths. We like our nonsense. We believe in our nonsense. We accept our nonsense. And we've believed nonsensical bullshit for a long time. But it wasn't until the turn of the century, wasn't until this century, the 21st century, when we were so interconnected that the bullshit nonsense that we believed, the algorithm can go, oh, you think George Washington cut down a cherry tree? And he was so honest that he said, I cannot tell a lie. And he confessed his sins to his dad? You believe that? Well, hey, what about the monetary system that's all made of uh, fiat money and they're more basing the value of money on your mortgage so you can't really sell your house. You don't get a deed of sale, you get a deed of title or whatever other fucking nonsense they talk about when it comes to selling your house. Or oh yeah, the world monetary system. Yeah, that all of the world banks are owned by the Rothschild family still. Like that's easily Googleable and like that's not true. Oh yeah, the you interested in that Rothschild thing? Well, you know the reason we don't use silver anymore is that so that uh, governments can track you through the metal strip and dollar bills. Oh yeah, yeah. We don't use dollar bills anymore because they use electronic currency. You know, every time you spend $100 bill, that $100 bill goes through the neighborhood and it creates more revenue and more money. And you know that shop owner spends $100 five different ways, and now it's $20 to five different shops, and those five different shops takes the $20 and they spend the $20 on 10 different ways, and then so that $100 bill becomes $1,000 as it works its way. But that's not how it works with electronic cash because electronic currency doesn't get spent the way electronic currency works the exact same fucking way paper money works. But now it's a meme and it gets spread all over Facebook, and your mom and your grandparents and your aunt and that drunk uncle, they all read the stupid meme and they're like, yeah, well, shouldn't use electronic. That's why you don't want to use electronic currency so we can be poor all the time. Like, what? A doesn't follow to B. Yeah, they want you to be poor all the time, but not because of that. That's not the point. Ever since September 11, 2001, we have been stupid. It wasn't an inside job. It wasn't an inside job. It wasn't some kind of vast conspiracy organized by Israel and Halliburton in order to create a great world war. We don't need a lot of pushing to get us to get into a war. We are a war tribe. That's what we do. We spend damn near $1 billion a year on war shit. We don't need a lot of prompting to start a fight. Jesus Christ, we're involved in a fight that we don't even have people involved in right now. We're involved in wars that we're not in. We get involved in wars simply based on the fact that we like the team colors of one of the sides. That's it. Like, oh, the Vikings are playing the Dolphins? Well, the Dolphins are blue and or teal and white. The Vikings are purple. We don't like purple. Fuck those guys. We're in for the Dolphins. Send the B-52s. We're in. Let's go. Flyby F-15s. Woo! America. We don't need a lot of prompting to pull our dick out and start a war. We do not need it. We absolutely do not need a couple of towers to be brought down in New York City to start a war. We'd have fought Afghanistan just for fun. We damn near fought Afghanistan The first time they put a bomb in the towers, but instead we just launched a couple of missiles into Somalia. No big deal. Was it Somalia? Yeah, it was Somalia. No big deal. Just a couple of missiles. Here you go. Killed a janitor or two. You know, we're a war tribe. That's what we do. Although I do have faith in the next couple of generations to kind of change that attitude, but that's 40 years from now. We'll see. It was very entrenched. It's another discussion. Anyway. I think I crashed my son's computer upstairs. All right, so I'll talk about that in a minute. So anyway, go back to the day that America became stupid. September 11th, 2001. God rest the souls of those people we lost that day. But in the days following, God rest the souls of the people who died because we got stupid. And I was one of those people. I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people at that same time. Like, the next warning sign will be a mushroom cloud over a city. We can't accept that. I believed a lot of the bullshit. I bought into it. I was scarred. A lot of Gen X, a lot of us folks, we saw that morning. We were scarred. I was going to get on a plane that day. Our flight was supposed to leave at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I turn on the news to see what the weather looks like in Miami, because that's where we were flying out of. We're flying out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami, which one of those two? I can't remember. Flip on the news to see the weather, make sure everything's going to be normal. I mean, it looked beautiful outside. I flip on the news and the building is on fire. What the fuck? I was scarred. I saw that shit. I remember watching that building, the second tower with the spire on it, as it like started to like implode on itself and the top like started to settle down. I kept thinking I was going to see a little dude in a blue suit and a red cape, because that's what you expect. You expect the superhero to show up at that point. Like, this isn't real. This is fiction. Like, no, it was real. It was fucking real. We were scarred. It left a mark. It left a deep mark. And I remember one video clip, distinctly remember this one video clip. It was on CBS, if I'm not mistaken. But they kept showing the like streetscape. And there was like this one urban like tumbleweed. They kept going back to the streetscape, and there was like this, it looked like a paper bag or a plastic bag, just like rolling down the. I'll never forget this. And the last time I saw this clip, they kept going back to this clip. Last time I saw this clip, I was like, wait a minute, that's a fucking head. Never saw that clip after that. We were scarred. We're absolutely fucking scarred. Yes, you heard me right. I swear to God, there was a clip they kept showing. I swear to God. Hand to God. Here's my fucking Bible. Hand to God. I swear to you. There was a clip. I think it was on CBS. Yeah, I think they were actively showing, and it was jarring. I'm not gonna lie. But that was the real world. Real world. Like, we saw this thing, like this thing happened. And it wasn't just a few days after that when the story started coming out. Oh, it was an inside job. Bush knew it was gonna. Now, I'm not gonna say that they didn't let it happen. I don't think they let it happen on purpose. I don't think that they were competent enough to stop it. And that's a very important difference. Like with Pearl Harbor, there's a very real possibility that the powers that be knew there was an attack that was imminent. And instead of doing anything to stop it, they did nothing and let it happen. But in the case of 9/11, in order for us to get into the World War II, in order to precipitate the war, we like, what's the worst that could happen? Our battleships aren't going to be there, our carrier groups aren't going to be there, just the battleships. We're going to replace the battleships, carrier groups. Yeah. It's great. It's great. It's a discussable, debatable topic. It's an open question. It's an open question, like a legitimate open question. It wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility, right? But when it comes to the attacks on September 11th, I don't think that our government had the tools, was competent enough, and capable enough at that time to have been able to stop it, even if they knew, well, only if they knew exactly when, where, and what. But just knowing the idea, yeah, these are the guys that are going to run planes into buildings. Well, first of all, that was beyond the pale of the imagination. Like, they're going to run a plane into a building? Who the fuck would do that? That's crazy. A whole plane full of people? That's insane. Nobody's going to do that. Like, they even did like simulations, like doing the Eiffel Tower or some crap, and they were like, nah, this isn't going to happen. This is silly. Lack of imagination. That was a major problem. Even if they knew, they were like, these guys are definitely going to try and run a plane into a building. I don't think they had the manpower, the capability, the communications capability. I don't think they had the organizational capability. I don't think they could have stopped it. I really don't think that. I mean, we have this idea of the FBI and the CIA and the NSA, enemy of the state type of shit, the Will Smith movie. Gene Hackman, Will Smith, like they're like a glove, and they just fucking work, and they're just like interconnected, and they know everything that's going on, and they're brilliant, they're smart. Newsflash: our government is not brilliant and smart. Even the CIA, even the NSA, even the FBI, they're not brilliant and smart. Go all the way down to the postal inspectors and the local cops. They're not brilliant and smart. They're just dumb dudes like you and me, and chicks like you and me. They're just normal people. Now they have a shit ton of surveillance stuff. Now they know what you had for breakfast, but only if they want to. Only if they want to know what you had for breakfast. Like, they don't know what you had for breakfast. Like, they don't just like have a report of what everybody in the United States had for breakfast. And even if they did have a report of what everybody in the United States had for breakfast and it's dropped on their table at noon, and they're not going to read 350 million breakfasts. They don't give a shit what you had for breakfast. But if they're watching you, if they're watching you, Eddie McAllen, in Jules, Iowa, if they're watching you, Eddie, you, 14210 Inverness Street in Jules, Iowa, they're watching you. They know what you had for breakfast because they're watching you. But they don't know what everyone had for breakfast. They don't give a shit what everyone had for breakfast. That's too much information. Today, that's too much information. And in 2001, they didn't even have the capacity, the ability, the capability. None of that. They didn't even have close to the ability to do that stuff. Cheers, sunflowers. Not even close. They were not as competent as we think they are, as we think they were. I don't think they could have stopped it if they even knew the details. They're like, okay, there's 20 guys. There's 20 guys, 5 planes, or 4 planes. 20 guys, 4 planes. This is the day, this is the time. Maybe if they knew the day and time, they could have disrupted the flight schedules. They could have put out a call to air traffic control and say, hey, delay all the flights. We need to find out who these people are. We need to get them off the flights. Sorry, it'd be like this. It'd be like this. We need to delay all the flights, find out who these people are, get them off. We need to disrupt their plan. Maybe, maybe, maybe. But they were not that competent. I don't think they even could have stopped it if they knew. So that's a hell of a stretch to go from they knew it was coming and they did nothing to stop it to they knew it was coming and they intentionally didn't stop it. They stood down. They let it happen. There's a big difference between they couldn't stop it and they let it happen. And there's a big, big jump between they couldn't stop it and they knew it was coming and just let it go. You're giving them too much credit. You're giving these ding dongs way too much credit. The FBI in real life is not the FBI in the movie. The CIA in real life is actually the CIA in real life is probably more competent than the CIA in movies, to be completely honest. But today the CIA is way better than the CIA from 1999, 2000, 2001. Way better. The CIA today, like I said, they know what you had for breakfast if they're watching you. But they don't know what you had for they don't know what you had for breakfast. They don't care about you. They don't know who you are unless they do. If they know who you are, they're watching you. They're watching you. They know what you had for breakfast. They know what your shit tastes like. Don't ask me how. I just know they know. They know. They know. So we're giving them too much credit. Giving them too much credit. And then to take that leap, from, they let it happen or they allowed it to happen or they knew it was coming and they permitted it to happen. They were okay with it. They were like, yeah, okay, we're going to let that go. Nah. Like not being able to stop it, giving active permission to let it happen. No. Then alerting the property owner, like, okay, we're going to do this. Make sure you have insurance policies. Are you kidding me? And then this was the point in time when Americans decided that they were going to believe any fucking nonsense. Any nonsense. Just whatever ridiculous, stupid story you wanted to come up with. This was the point in time where Venezuela, owning a company that built election machines that were rigged from Italian space satellites beaming information to make Joe Biden win the 2020 election happened. September 11th, 2001 is the reason we have Donald Trump, former president of the United States, as a thing. And as tragic as the event by itself was, 4 planefuls of people, 65 or so people on each plane, if I'm not mistaken. So that's 250 or so people on the planes who just boarded a plane, and they weren't expecting to be in a plane that got hijacked. One of those planes had a handful of heroes in it. Let's Roll became a thing for several years. Brought that plane down, saved us another iconic building being destroyed in Washington, either the Capitol or the White House. The White House would have been obliterated. That thing's made of wood. 3,000 people from the towers, a couple hundred first responders. As tragic as that event was, you can literally draw a straight line from September 11, 2001, stupid fucking conspiracy theories to people in 2020 believing a conspiracy theory about COVID that was literally based on a 2013 television show from the BBC. Seriously, people talking about how a virus that was rigged and released by a private pharmaceutical company so that they could sell vaccines that would affect your genome, your DNA, and make you sterile. That's the plot of the TV series Utopia, which was released in 2013 in Britain on the BBC. And it was re-released on Amazon in 2020 in a very unfortunate coincidence. And to this day, fucking morons will walk around and tell you that mRNA vaccine that COVID is based on will make you sterile. It messes with your DNA and makes you sterile. And that is diametrically, unequivocally, without question, untrue. And it is based on a TV show. A TV show from 2013. Because in 2001, a bunch of numbnut motherfuckers decided to create a fucking stupid conspiracy, and Americans decided they would believe any goddamn nonsense. And in 2001, we had 3,000 people die. And a fucking conspiracy was invented out of whole fucking cloth that 19 years later led to the death of over 1 million people. Because America got stupid on that day. On that day. On that day, they got stupid and decided they would fucking believe anything. Any goddamn nonsense. Even fucking nonsense that was based on a TV show. In fact, most of your stupid conspiracy theories today are based on a stupid fucking TV show. They watched a stupid TV show and they're like, oh, birds are fucking robots. Which, by the way, the birds are robots is a joke. And the birds aren't real, birds are robots. That's a joke. It's a joke. We know it's a joke. But have you watched the Hunger Games? They actually have birds that are robots. Oh, birds are robots. I'm telling you, I have faith in humanity. I've always had faith in humanity. I will continue to have faith in humanity. Because there's more of us who do not believe this fucking nonsense than there are people who do believe the fucking nonsense. The problem is the people who do believe in the nonsense fucking believe the nonsense with their whole chest. And it's like I can't convince you to not be stupid. You've made the willful choice to be stupid, and you're gonna walk around and be all like Hunter's laptop. Like fucking okay. Passing around jump drives, USB drives to move votes around from okay. Whatever. mRNA vaccines change your DNA. No, they don't. You know, we live in a dome and the moon is painted. Okay. No. There's an ice wall around the flat earth. No, there isn't. Whatever. I mean, it comes to a point where you can't argue with these fucking morons. You can't argue with them. Because there's just no argument. We don't participate in the same reality. You don't fucking argue with them. And before 2001, we didn't live in the kind of interconnected world where you could say something in your living room and get 15 ads on your Facebook page because you said it, and your phone microphone picked it up and your TV's microphone picked it up, and it went into the goddamn algorithm, and Alexa said, hey, sure, we'll send you all kinds of stuff about that. Oh, by the way, your search history says you might be pregnant. You don't know it yet, but you wanted moisturizer and pickles and ice cream. So you might be pregnant. Maybe here's some pregnancy tests. Go check it out. Well, thanks, Alexa. I appreciate that. I didn't fucking know I was pregnant, but now I guess I am. I heard you arguing in the background. Maybe you want to be cheating on your husband. Here's some Madison. What's the Allison Allison? What was that website? Addison May, Madison Alley. I don't know. They went bankrupt. People started cheating and they went bankrupt. Heard you prancing. Here's some Grinder account information. Whatever. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done fucking ranting about this shit. I had to get it off my chest. I really wanted to get it off my chest. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Really need to get this off my chest because there was a point where we weren't so fucking stupid. I had an actual conversation with a guy, actual conversation, real words, face to face, speaking with this person. He told me that his grandmother voted 3 times in 2020 and she died in 2017. They checked. They went to the Harris County website for voting and they saw that his grandmother voted 3 times for Joe Biden and she was dead. So, something that many people don't know about me is that I am an election commissioner, assistant clerk, assistant elections clerk, or deputy assistant, something like whatever the fucking title is. I work the polls, not the polls. I don't. I work the election polls every year, primaries, general election. I work them all every year. I try to. Every year we have an election, and I know how elections work in Texas. I know how the election website works at the county level, and you can't vote multiple times in the county of Harris. You can't look up your name and see that somebody voted multiple times. You can't look up your grandmother's name and see that she voted multiple times unless you have several pieces of personal data about her, like her social security number, driver's license number, birth date. You got to have like those 3 things to be able to identify who it is. Um, you, it doesn't say who you voted for. They don't track that. There's privacy with regards to who you vote for, even in the state of Texas. So I shared this information with him. I'm like, look, you may not know this, but I know that you're lying because of what I do. That's not how the website works. You can't just go look for somebody else's information unless you have these specific pieces of documentation. And even if you did have those specific pieces of documentation, you won't know who they voted for because that's not what the website tells you. It just tells you your voting history. To which his response was, and I shit you not, okay, yeah, I know I was lying, but the point is it was still rigged, and nothing you can tell me will change my mind about that. That's just my opinion. And see, the thing is, adding that's just my opinion doesn't make a factually incorrect statement true. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Saying 2 plus 2 equals 936,321, that's just my opinion, is not a true statement. It may be your opinion that it equals that number, but that doesn't mean it equals that number. And saying, well, my grandma voted, no, you fucking lied. That didn't happen. Your grandmother didn't vote 3 fucking times. You lied. You lied. You lied and you're a lying liar. That's what it means. And you're basing your whole worldview on this lie that you invented. He's like, I don't care. It was a stolen election. Based on the lie that you are believing that you created? Whatever. I'm going to pour myself another drink, then we're going to open up chat. I hope we got people who are willing to chat with me. I mean, look, I believe in the true and like reality, like things that we know that are true. I mean, I can be convinced of things that are true. Fucking talk to me. You want to try and tell me that giants existed? Show me a skeleton. You want to talk to me about lizard people? Give me something that's not just bullshit that you're making up. Conspiracy Theory was a great movie. It was a great movie. The unfortunate thing about Conspiracy Theory is that it came out the same month that Princess Diana was killed. I actually watched Conspiracy Theory with Julia Roberts, Mel Gibson, great movie. I watched that movie the same night that Princess Diana was killed. And for those that you don't know, conspiracy theory came out in mid-90s, whenever it was. Princess Diana died the same night, mid-90s. It was a dude who was like into conspiracy theories because he was a brainwashed guy. And back then in the 90s, when you wanted to like track conspiracies, you had to print out newspaper articles and like do collages and stuff. And that's where the string from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's where it came. Like they had the string, this picture connected to that guy, connected to this is the conspiracy, the web of lies, and everybody's connected, and it all connects to Richard Nixon or whatever. That's where that comes from. Like back in the day, that's how we had to track like conspiracies or like actual real live conspiracies. Like there was who was it all connected to? Who was the person? You know, we saw this in Deadpool too with the names on the board and stuff. Sunflowers just got added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Thanks, son. The persistent reliance on nonsense. Fucking nonsense. You want to get me worked up about some shit. You want to get me worked up in a rage. You want to get me worked up in a frustrated fucking rant. That's the type of shit that gets me worked up into a fucking rant. Like a bona fide, honest to God rant. I mean, I can go from 0 to 100 pretty quick when I start talking about fucking nonsensical bullshit. You know, when somebody comes up to me and they're like, you know, we're chilling, we're having a drink, we're talking, and like everybody's like, hey, ask him about the I don't know, name a fucking conspiracy. Name some kind of stupid fucking conspiracy. Ask him the Sandy Hook truthers. Yeah, that's a good one. Ask him about the crisis actors at Sandy Hook. And the guy looks at the first guy. He goes, "Crisis actors at Sandy Hook. That's bullshit." No. Ask the old humble guy about that. And he looks at me and goes, "What's the deal with the crisis actors at Sandy Hook?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? Let's go." No. This is how it goes. Alex Jones is a piece of shit. And Alex Jones is a piece of shit who got his piece of shit credentials in 2001. And flash forward, and then boom, you got me going. Wound up 0 to 100. Let's go. We're going to talk about how this is bullshit. We're going to talk about how it's bullshit. We're going to talk about how it's bullshit and how it damages the discussion, the general discourse of America in general. And meanwhile, these pricks are just giggling into their fucking old fashions going, it's funny. And like, no, it's fucking melting your brains and y'all are stupider for it. Because you even entertain this shit. It's not funny. It fucking ruins. It literally leads to an insurrection on January 6, 2021. Literally. Straight line drawn from here to there because they're taking crisis actors and take our guns and they're going to take our guns. Meanwhile, this is the room of all the guns that have ever been seized. Imagine an empty cavern behind me. I have fully expected there to be more chat on this episode. What the fuck is everybody? I've been going for 45 minutes now. 2 chats. 2. What the fuck? And next week's episode will be on the unit circle and trigonometry. Yeah, that's what we'll do next week. We'll do the unit circle and trigonometry. We'll do a right and proper trig lesson with whiskey. How you like that? Also, Ted Cruz is still a piece of shit. You know, Mitt Romney retired today. And Ted Cruz is still a piece of shit. I'm going to flip it over to chat. And we don't have any, but I'm done with the monologue. I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. I'm finished. There it is. Chat. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you are welcome to join me in chat. Vanessa Kitty, hello to you. You have been added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Sunflowers, you have also been added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. And just to be clear, I don't think America is stupid. The vast majority of America, I don't know if it's the vast majority. The majority of Americans are not willfully stupid. We don't willfully believe stupid shit. But I have sat down at the table with somebody who I believed was smart, who repeated the words of Ben Carson that Planned Parenthood was founded as a eugenics laboratory. Let, let that sink in. Planned Parenthood was established as a eugenics laboratory because the person who established Planned Parenthood believed in eugenics. Let that sink in for a minute. The person who established Planned Parenthood, and mind you, Planned Parenthood was established in the late 20s, early 30s, when that was a very popular line of thought in the United States in general. And eugenics being preventing poor breeding stock people of poor genetic makeup, people of poor physical and mental constitutions, preventing them from breeding. Eugenics is basically everything the Nazis did in creating their master, in attempting to create their master race. Very popular line of thought in the United States, in modern industrial world in the early 20th century. People don't appreciate how close most of the Western world was to German ideology when Hitler rose to power. Most people don't appreciate that. Like the turning point came, like most turning points come. This turning point came when, everybody talks about a thing, but we don't follow through with it. Like in the 80s, we had Jesse Jackson, like late 70s, early 80s, we had Jesse Jackson running for president, but everyone knew the Democrats weren't going to elect a black man, right? The Republicans were talking about banning abortion, but everyone knew they weren't going to do it because of the Supreme Court, right? Everyone knew they talked about balancing the budget, but everyone knew they weren't going to do it. They talked about, war, but they knew they weren't going to go and do it. They talked about a bunch of shit, but we knew they weren't going to do it. Both parties knew both parties weren't going to, and the one party had their crazy shit, and the other party knew they weren't going to do their crazy shit, and the other party had their crazy shit, and we knew they weren't going to do their crazy shit. And when I talk about crazy shit, I mean crazy shit from the 1980s. But then, we started talking about crazy shit like we could just kick over a country and install a government. And they're like, that's crazy shit. You're not going to do that. And then we did it. And then the other party was, maybe we should do our crazy shit. And everyone's like, you're not going to do your crazy shit. What are you talking about? Nobody's that crazy. And then they went and did it and elected a black man to be president. And then the other party was like, well, if you're going to do that crazy shit, we're going to do our other crazy shit. And we're going to get a whole group of people who are like, balance the budget or we'll shut down the government. And then they shut down the government, but then they didn't balance the budget. But then they said, we're going to be even crazier shit. And they elected a fucking crazy person. Like, you wouldn't dare. Like, oh, we'll dare. And they did it. And everybody was like, holy shit, they did. Fucking crazy person. I'm only going till midnight tonight. I got early morning tomorrow. Anybody gets in the chat, you get added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. A $1 super chat adds you to the wheel again. For every dollar, you get added again. So you say hi in chat, you get added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. $10 super chat, 10 more ads. You come in and say, hey, twice, you only get added once. Drop $2 super chat, I take a shot. It's happy hour, $2 shots. We're good, $2 shots. $2 shots, baby. What did you say? What did you say? Sunflowers, I saw your comment. I didn't read it. Yeah, they think no one died. These people are 300, 400 people or 300 people, 250 or so people are just living in a magical place where they don't have phones. I mean, whatever. What fucking ever. Whatever. Hey, we got people in chat. Princess Kickass. Let's add you back into the Wheel of Doom and Glory. What's up, Ting Ting? How you doing, girl? It's been a minute. Glory hole room? What? Who wouldn't want to be added to the glory hole room? Thank you. Princess kick butt. Woo! Welcome to the party. Who wouldn't want to be added to the glory hole room? I mean, that's like 2 parts of just happiness there. I mean, everybody's getting something out of that, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, all right, let's talk about the physics of a glory hole here. On the one side, all right, so this is a phobia of mine in general. I discovered this, like, I didn't know that I don't think that I have a lot of like true phobias. I have visceral, I fucking hate wasps. I'm not scared of them. I hate them. If I see a wasp, I'm going to kill it. But I'm not going to like run away. Oh, it's a wasp. Oh, I'm scared. Fuck it. If a wasp stings me, that's fine. He's got a stinger in my arm. I'm going to take him. I'm going to grab him. I'm going to break him in half. I'm going to rip that motherfucker out of my arm. I'm going to snap him in half. I'm going to throw the parts on the ground. I'm going to stomp on it. I'm going to be stung. That's going to hurt. But that motherfucker's dead. No question. I'm not afraid of a wasp. I'm not allergic to wasps. I'm not allergic to bees. I'm not afraid of getting stung. I don't want to get stung. Getting stung sucks. But I'm going to kill that motherfucker. I hate them. I hate them. I'm not afraid. I'm not a waspophobe. Whatever the opposite of file is, I'm a wasp of fucking hater. Whatever hate is in Greek. Waspophilic? Waspophile? Waspophile would be a lover of wasps. Waspophobe would be a fear of wasps. Like, y'all look it up. What's the Greek suffix for fear or for hate? Greek suffix for hate. Mesia. So I'm a waspomesiac. Waspomesiac? Aphrodisiac? No, waspomesiac. A waspomesiac. I hate them. I hate them. I hate wasps. Keep a rat trap in your purse for emergency. Okay, so back to the point. I discovered this in October of last year that I have a true phobia, a fear, a true fear of putting my hand into a hole where I can't see what's in the hole. A true fear. And I remember as far back as I was a kid, the movie Flash Gordon, right? Where he, I don't know, I don't know if I'm the only person in the entire universe who's seen this movie. Ah, ah, he can save every one of us. Anyway, um, there was a scene in Flash where he's like taking it, he has to take his hand and he puts it into a hole. And there's another guy doing it too. It's like a punishment. And there's like a creature in the rock. He puts his hand in there and it's like, "Pah!" And it bites it. And there's like a little green thing where it bites the dude. But it doesn't bite Flash, or maybe it does bite Flash. I can't remember. But I remember that. And I'm like, oh no, he's putting his hand in the thing, you can't see it. Like, I couldn't do that. Like, no. And I went to this haunted house thing, and you were like supposed to reach into there was like holes all in the room, and you were supposed to get like a little like baby figurine thing out of, god damn, it was like supposed to be a vagina, wasn't it? Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, but there's like couch cushions, and you were supposed to find it. It was in a crevice, a crack, a hole, whatever. And there was holes in the couches, like holes in the cushions and stuff like that. And you're supposed to like reach in there and grab stuff out. And I hated every moment of that because it was a true visceral fear that I did not know I had, and I discovered it that night. And I don't want to put my hand in this shit, but I got to because I can't finish the puzzle without the stupid figurine. Where was I going with this? Um, yeah, anyway, there's very few things that I hate. Very few things I hate, and one of those is doing that, putting my hand into a thing. I'm trying to remember what started this story. Like putting my hand into a thing where I don't know what it is. Um, oh, glory holes, right? So I had to look at the chat there. You keep a rat trap in your purse for emergency glory hole incidents. What the fuck is even what even is an emergency glory hole incident? So, like the concept of a glory hole, for those of you who don't know, is that there's a wall, and there's a hole into which you put your male member. And on the other side of that hole is a receptive host who services your member, right? So, presumptions being, of course, that the person on the giving side wants to give and the person on the receiving side wants to receive, right? Like, you're not going to be like, there's not going to be two people like kissing through the glory hole. There's not going to be like two like mouths. Like, I'm hoping to get a thing, and then somebody else says, I'm hoping to get a thing too, and they like kiss each other. And it's not going to be like, oh, I hope to get something, and they like doink each other, right? Like, somehow there's an understood agreement on both sides of the wall that like this is the entry point, and this is the, like, y'all have an agreement somehow, whatever. Like, somehow the two people come to an understanding. I can't get over the idea. I can't get over the idea of putting my hand into a hole that I don't know what's on the other side. I can't imagine putting my dong into a hole where I don't know what's on the other side. Like, how do guys even do that? Like, I don't understand. I do not understand that mechanic. I'm flipping over from top chat to live chat. Um, and keep without without question, I still don't know what emergency glory hole incident is. Like, you're running into the bathroom, and then all of a sudden a dick pops through the wall, and you're like, ah, snap. I, I mean, it seems to me that it's just fine to ignore it. But again, like I said, like who would just like randomly like, oh look, there's a hole. I'm gonna try and fuck that hole. Like who does that? Who You don't know what's on the other side of that. You don't know what's in that hole. You don't know anything about it. You what It could be a wasp nest. And you're just gonna put your hand in there? And like I said, I'm not afraid of wasps, but I'll kill them 100%. Every one of them. I'll murder the hell out of them. Uh, Trypophobia is a specific type of phobia characterized by fear of holes. Yeah, I probably, I mean, of all the phobias that's probably the one. Of all the phobias that exist, that's probably the one. I mean, if it was like, you dropped your keys down that hole, you need to reach in and grab them. I'd be like, I guess I'm walking home today. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think that's a thing that I'm going to do. I think that I've just lost those keys is what happened. Uh, Hunter would do it. Commander Lou comes in with a top-notch comment to get on the wheel of doom and glory. Congratulations. First comment that I've seen that I know of seeing from that particular handle. Welcome to the party, Commander. uh, it is my understanding that he has done some weird shit. Um, and it is a good thing that he is not our president. I don't think I would vote for that guy. And that's usually a good policy to maintain, is that you don't vote for crazy people who have uh, poor morals and life skills, who can be blackmailed, who can be controlled by foreign powers, who can just generally do stupid shit. You generally don't vote for those people, which is why uh, Hunter Biden has never held office, run for office, or been an officer of the federal government of the United States of America. he is a low he's a low character individual, I think, from everything that I've seen. Now, props to him for getting his shit together and getting his life together. Props to him. We don't in America we don't condemn people for life for transgressions, except for a handful of transgressions. There are definitely transgressions for which we condemn people for life too, or for committing. But simply being a drug addict is not one of those transgressions that we typically condemn people for life. Insurrection might be one of those things that we condemn people for the rest of their natural life. But we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. It's one of those things that I condemn people for the rest of their fucking life. But yeah, as far as glory hole goes, yeah, that's that's a thing that I don't. I just do not. I can't understand it. I try. Like, you gotta know what's on the other side of that wall, right? You gotta know who. You gotta know what. You gotta know what they're capable of. I mean, you could put your shit through there, and you just slide your junk through that hole in the wall, and then next thing you know, you got a clamp on your shit, and like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't like get away. Like, there's a a, a fucking a bear trap on your junk, and now what are you gonna do? You're stuck there. What are you gonna call management? Like, hey, I don't know how to explain this to you, but I'm stuck in room, I don't know, like the third one. There's I like, what do you do if you're at a strip club and you get your car broken into? Like, do you call the cop? I guess you could. It's a strip club. You call the cops, but like, you can't put that on your insurance, right? Because then you got to explain to your wife that you were. I mean, unless you had permission, I guess, from your wife to be at a strip club. But like, if you're going to like fuck your mistress and you get a ticket, like, what are you gonna do? Like, my brain works in weird ways. Like, right? Like, I live in Houston, the fourth largest city, fifth largest city, fourth. New York, LA, Chicago, fourth largest city in the country. The fourth largest city in the country. And like, cars are all over the place. Like, and people are all over the place. And if you leave your car unlocked, you get your car broken into. Like, and Houston has got probably more strip clubs than any other place in the world, I guess. I don't know. We're famous for our strip clubs. We're famous for our restaurants. It's one of the reasons why NBA players like to play here. Like, how do you explain to your insurance company? I'm sure insurance companies have heard worse, but you're like, yeah, I had my car broken into at Rick's Cabaret. They stole my backpack, had my computer in it, stack of ones. um, your wife's like, why were you on the west side of town when you work in downtown and we live on the north side? And you're like, I was going to visit a friend? I don't know. Like, how do you explain this shit, right? And then, if you're in a place that has a glory hole, and now all of a sudden there's a bear trap on your junk, and you're stuck, like you're belly to a wall, and there's a fucking trap on your shit, like, and you're like, I can't pull away because it'll rip it right off of me. Like, can you even reach your phone? Like, you gotta, like, because your pants are down around your ankles, I assume. Can you even reach your phone down there? Like, how are you gonna make a phone call? Who are you gonna call? What are you gonna do? And I guess the more important question is, who would do that? Why would they do it? Who would do that? Why would they do that? Huh. That's probably a more important question to ask. Like, who and why? What have you done to put yourself in a situation where someone would put a bear trap on your junk on the other side of a glory hole? Hmm. Also, glory hole is what they call the hole in a glass furnace that they put the silicate in to. You were informed that my streams were nuts. Okay, that's fair. um, it came up while I was explaining the non-spherical nature of Earth. What? It came up while you were explaining it. Oh, are you a flat earther? Holy shit. Oh Christ. Um yeah, noodling, I'm well, also the earth is round. Um I put a lot of thought into the glory hole idea, probably more than I should, to be quite honest. Considering the type of life that I live. Yeah, probably far more thought than I ever should. Like, anyway. Um, they call it noodling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Noodling is a thing. Noodling's a thing where they go like into a lake and they stuff their hand into a hole in order to get a catfish to bite their finger. Who the fuck does that? Who? I guess it's people with 9 fingers, right? Commander Lou comes in with the flat Earth. Oh shit. um, no offense intended, but like I said, people believe all kinds of nonsensical fucking bullshit. I did mention the ice wall surrounding the flat Earth as part of the nonsensical bullshit that I talked about having its nexus, its genesis on the 9/11 conspiracy bullshit. But we are a long way from 9/11 conspiracy bullshit. We're talking about fucking bear traps on your junk in the glory hole. But I mean, Princess, you fucking talked about having a rat trap in your purse specifically for emergency glory hole situations. I don't even know what an emergency glory hole incident would be. Like you're just minding your own business, skipping through TikToks while you're taking a dump, and then all of a sudden a penis shows up in the stall next to you. Don't you go to the girls' room? I mean, do girls even have glory holes in their stalls? I've been in bathrooms that have glory holes. I've been there. I've seen them. I've seen them in truck stops. Like, why is there a hole? I'm not gonna take a dump in this place. I just peed, but I don't generally crap in public toilets because I'm weird, and that's a discussion I don't want to have tonight. But it's fine. Um, I just don't understand. I don't understand. I do not understand. Like this is important stuff to us. Like this is a significant portion of most guys' identity. Most guys' identity is centered around having a penis. It's centered around having junk there, junk that looks like a trunk. Most guys' identity is built from the middle out, if you will. I just can't imagine a world where guys are like, I'm going to take this thing that's such an integral part of my identity, such an important part of who I am, such a significant thing that I touch on a daily basis, right? I mean, we all pee. You gotta, yeah. I mean, you don't just like wave it around while you use the bathroom. You grab it, name it. Something that is so absolutely integral to our identity as a man, and then we'll just stick it in a thing. I mean, we stick it in a lot of stuff. We put it in fucking cantaloupes and watermelons and tubes of all shapes and sizes. Don't you? But we know what's in it when we stick our junk in the thing. Is what I'm saying. And every guy has a conversation with their son about, if you're not sure you can pull it out, don't stick it in to begin with. You don't want to be like going to an emergency room and then have to pull out a Dremel tool and like cut like right up to the flesh. You don't want that to happen. We're not sticking it into metal rings and stuff that don't give. Plastic rings, stuff you can break, sure. Wooden rings, cardboard. Cups, glasses, water bottles. We'll stick it in all kinds of shit. But we know what's inside it, is what I'm saying. But if it's just like a dark hole, like, oh, what's in there? Which reminds me of a movie that I saw on Amazon called The Special. God, this was a fucked up movie. This was a fucked up movie. And we're going to have a word from our sponsor. I'm going to go to another piece of ice. We're going to have a word from our sponsor. I'll be right back. In 3, 2, 1.
Is your bar looking a little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble's Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
This show is going completely fucking bonkers. So I'm going to talk about The Special. The Special was a movie that I saw on Amazon. Oh, by the way, once again, super chats. Every $1 super chat gets you another listing on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Being in chat at all gets you on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. The Wheel of Doom and Glory will be spun at the end of the month, the beginning of next month, probably the beginning of next month, the beginning of October. We will spin the Wheel of Doom and Glory twice. The first spin is for Doom. The name that gets pulled up on the first spin comes off the Wheel of Doom. The second spin is the Wheel of Glory. That winner gets a sample kit of our whiskey. Sample kit of our whiskey is one sample bottle of, let me pull that image back up. One sample bottle of our advertisement, background, banner, family photo. That's the one. Is it there? Where's my family photo? Where is it? Hang on, I gotta find the family photo that I just pulled up. Banner, map. Background? No. Did I not activate it? Map? Nope. Not that one. Not that one. That one? Where did that go? That one. Nope, that's a map. That one? Where'd it go? Pick one? Was that it? Pick one? Nope. That one? Where'd that go? Nope. Okay, anyway. Let's try this one more time. Image. Add existing. Family photo. Okay, there it is. All right. Family photo time. This is our family of whiskeys. We will be giving away a sample pack of these whiskeys plus a cigar. And a nice cigar box. You'll be able to get all of our whiskeys, a little bit of each. Not a lot, just a little bit. You know, one of those airplane bottles. There they are. Hello, sample whiskeys. That's a nice picture. God, that's a nice picture. I took that in my kitchen. Okay, so every one of you who's been in chat, all of you who have been in chat, have been added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Spin the wheel twice. First one's Doom, second one's Glory. Someone's walking away in October with a kit of each one of these whiskeys. Little plus a cigar. Plus a cigar from my friends at either Divine Leaf, Hereford, or the Smoking Room. One of those three brands of cigars will be added to the prize package worth infinity money. Infinity money. The fuck is going on with my keyboard now? There it is. Okay. So, the movie. It's available on Amazon. It's called The Special. So the guy's having the guy just had a baby. His wife just had a baby. He didn't have a baby. His wife just had a baby. And this is the plot of the special. And this goes back to the theme of the glory hole. And guys will stick their dick in anything. I don't understand it. I don't understand why they would, but they will. This is like the theme of the movie. The guys will stick their dick in anything. So anyway, move over here. There, fix that. So the point of the special, the plot, the whole theme. His wife just had a baby. He's having intimacy issues. She doesn't want to touch him. He wants to touch her because she's fine. And she's like, "Oh, guys, you may be pregnant. I don't want to fuck you." Anyway, so his friend is like, "You're being a dick. You're being an asshole. Let's get you laid. Let's go to this place. Here's a extra $100. Ask for the special." Ask for the special, and the special is literally a box with a hole. It's a box. The box is, it's like 12 by 12, by yay big, by yay big, by yay big, 12 by 12 by 12, 15 by 15 by 15. It's a square box, cube box. Hole. And, he gets the special. And, he puts his junk in the hole. Kills a whore. Or comes back. He's like fucking the box every week or something like that. It's like weird. He's like obsessed with the box. He's like, "This is the best I've ever had. Oh my god." He keeps coming back, keeps doing it again and again and again and again and again. Finally kills the old lady, takes the box, takes it home. The box quits. He gets a rash. The box quits working. Body atrophies. And, the bodyguards for the old lady that he kills comes and cuts his head off and sticks it in the box, and he becomes the special. Guys will stick their dick in anything. It's a great movie, by the way. Go watch the movie. Spoiler alert. I guess I should have said spoiler alert at the beginning. But anyway, you're not going to go watch the movie. It's weird. It's a weird fucking movie. It's one of those horror, like, psychological horror movies. Weird. It's on Amazon. It's fun. It's a fun movie to watch. I'm weird. I watch weird movies. Sometimes. And sometimes I think about, how would I kill everybody in the Schlotzkys? But that's not like here or there. Those are intrusive thoughts. You don't need to know that I just said that. You can edit this out. Just ignore that. Let's go back to talking about whiskey. What's in chat? I put a lot of thought in the glory hole idea. No, I just don't like the idea of like holes in general. I don't like the idea of holes where I don't know what's in the hole. I don't want to put my finger or my hand or my arm or my foot. I don't want to go digging around. I don't want to dig into a murky puddle of water to try and find my key. Like those keys are just lost. Like they're gone forever. I'm a guy who walks from now on. My keys are gone. I'm not doing that. It's not how I roll at all. That's just how I am. Anyway, on to the next thing. I can't stop talking about it because it freaks me out. It freaks me out. I can't stop thinking about it now. I can't stop talking about it. Just the chills, the weirdness of going into a room, a closet, a room, or whatever. I don't know, a bathroom stall. I mean, you assume that there's a guy on the other side, but what does he have, like razor teeth? Do you know? Like, you're in a men's room. Like, there's not a woman on the other side of that stall. You know it's a dude. And what kind of dude is it? Is it like a meth dude who's like all like scratchy and itchy and he's got like 6 teeth? Is it some kind of snaggletooth like leprechaun or something? He's got like shark teeth? Like, what do you even know? Do you even know? And you're just like, look, a hole. And you stick your dick in it? What? How? What? I mean, it's one thing if you're like at a sorority house and you have a reasonable expectation that on the other side of it is one of the sorority girls that you talked to earlier that night. Or maybe they keep the snaggletooth ugly one upstairs in the closet and you just walk up to the door and like, oh, that's where Helga is. She's gonna rip your shit off if you put it in there. It gives me the creeps. It freaks me out. I can't stop thinking about it now. Like, who would do that? Who would just stick their junk into a random hole? Like you do that shit and you come back, you like reach down to the hole to try and grab something, and you come back and now everybody's calling you lefty. But it's not your left hand or your right hand that you lost. Not now. No. I mean, you're Mike, you stick your junk in the hole and your junk's gone. Now they're all going to have to call you Look, that's how you want to live your life. That's how you live your life. I don't have any problem with that. I just don't understand how guys can do that. I don't understand it. Like, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know the other side of that hole is not a whole fucking family of piranha? How do you know? I mean, sure, we're on land, we're 90 miles from the ocean. You're not at an aquarium. But how do you know that's not a anthropomorphized piranha who's just sitting around waiting for you to put your junk through it so he can have himself a tube steak? How do you know? How do you know? Did you go into the next room and say hi to the person that you're trying to get an anonymous BJ from? Did you do that? If you did not do that, how do you know who it is? How do you get an anonymous? This bothers me, as you can see. This is the sort of thing that bothers me. This creeps me out. This creeps me out on a fundamental level, on a profound level. This creeps me out. Anyway, let's drop it. Let's go on to other stuff. Smokey and the Bandit's a movie. Probably the best movie ever made. hmm. If dangerous things are safe and effective, and inflation is transitory, I will speak on flat Earth. It's more a fucking Italian belief system. That's what I always figured. I always figured people were like, "Oh, it's the Earth is flat." They don't really believe that shit. I've come to assume that people who say nonsensical shit like that don't actually believe it. I've come to just assume it, but I still don't discuss the flat Earth. I won't discuss it. It's not a debatable topic. It's just like purple unicorns are a thing. Like, okay, off over here. We'll talk about your purple unicorns and nonsense. I may come back and be curious of what you talk about, but man, back when I was doing the flat, like the evidence around us to that that confirms that it's nonsense. That like just casual observation stuff that you can point to and say, well, that's because we live on a round globe. The casual observation stuff that you can look at. The geometry of the universe that tells us the type of ground that we live on. Back when I was talking about that, it was what was I saying? What was I talking about? The non-debatable topics, non-debatable nonsense. Yeah, back when I was talking about that, it was like it was clear that people who were saying that were just like being contrarian. They were just saying it because it's not whatever. It's like whatever. It's not a debatable topic. It's not whatever. My train of thought is on 6 different tracks right now. I'll get it all reined in after a while. The Earth is a cube. If you walk outside, you'll be walking sideways. The Earth is a cube. I had one woman try to explain to me that how the Earth was a bowl. Like Jesus Christ. Anyway, um, the whole thing was unexpected. Now we'll open a cube. The whole thing is always unexpected. Anything inside of a hole is always unexpected. That's what holes are about. Like, what's inside the hole? I don't know. I have no idea what's inside the hole. Most normal people, I would think, when they see a hole, a dark, deep hole, their first instinct wouldn't be, I'm going to stick my dick inside that. Their first instinct would be something like throw a rock in there or put my finger in it or a stick maybe. But I don't think that most people, I don't think most normal, the first rational thought when you like see a wall and there's like a hole in the wall and you're looking in there and you're trying to figure out what's in there and maybe there's like you like grab a stick or something, right? Like the first thought isn't I'm going to stick my dick in that thing. I mean, my first thought is, well, I mean, it might be will it fit? But you know, like that's not going to be the first thing. Like what else can I stick in there first to make sure it doesn't get snapped off at the base? Like you jam a stick in there and see if the stick's going to get like because I don't want that to be what happens to my dick, like a twig or something. Then work your way up to like a curtain rod or something. One of those hangers in your closet, the closet rod hangers. Make you get thicker and thicker and thicker till you get to a nice proxy of what you're working with. When you stick the twig in there and the thing clamps down, you're like, oh, twigs are little. Get that curtain rod. That's bigger. See, how big does it need to be before it snaps it clean off? Is it? Never mind. We don't want to snap it clean off. We just want him stuck there for a couple hours. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, let's talk about more family-friendly stuff. The Astros threw a one-hitter today against the Oakland A's. I just don't understand how guys will see a hole and be all like, "Oh, stick my dick in that." Hey, you don't know what's in the hole. I mean, if you don't know what's in the hole, how do you know? What are you gonna do? I don't think most guys think these things through. I really don't. I'm surprised that there's not more guys who are stuck on walls with their junk just clamped on the other side of a hole. That's where I'm coming from. I mean, you should think that you're walking down the street and there's like a chain link fence with like a dozen guys with their dicks stuck in the chain link fence because the chain link fence is full of holes. And then on the other side of the chain link fence is Princess Kickass there just walking down with rat traps going snap, 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 catching these guys in their stupid dick traps. Just a fence with like the green like fabric on it and like every like 48 inches or so, every 4 feet there's like a hole and the guys are like, oh, you'll stick my dick in that thing, and like that guy's stuck. He's got his dick stuck in a rat trap on the other side of the fence, and the next guy's like, oh man, that sucks. Oh, look, a hole. Snap. He's like, oh shit, I'm stuck. I'm gonna be late for work. I better call the office. Hey boss, I'm not gonna be in today. I'm stuck in a fence. I got my dick stuck again. That's the third time this month, Calvin. Anyway, that's why I don't. That's why I'm not a fan of the glory hole. And besides, who? I mean, uh, then there's the mechanics of the thing, right? You're like up against a wall like this, and like on the other side of the wall is just like someone. I mean, you gotta assume it's like some kind of crackhead, meth addict, whatever. That's just got like fucking vampire fucking teeth, piranha mouth. Because if they were attractive, they'd just look at you and you'd be all like, "Hey, you're pretty. Why don't you, I don't understand how glory holes work. Is what I'm saying. I don't understand. I mean, I understand how they work on the other side. Like, you know, you just sit there and I don't know. I guess you got a chair or something, and you're like Molly Muffet on her tuffet, sitting waiting for the curds and whey to pop through the hole. And when the curds and whey pop through the hole, you're just like, breakfast. But again, you don't know who that guy is. That guy might have been just coming in off the track. He may not have showered for 3 days. That guy may be gross. Anyway, spending too much time thinking about this. Ugh, ugh. I'm gonna have to go shower. YouTube's gonna take away my monetization because I'm talking about glory holes. Bull Rush in the house. Cheers, Bull Rush. How long have you been here? 11:45. You've been here for 20 goddamn minutes, and I'm just noticing. Jesus Christ, Bull Rush. You are on the wheel of doom and glory. Bull Rush. What is that's a number? 5470. 4570. 4570. Welcome to the party, Bull Rush. It's full on nonsense tonight. Full on fucking nonsense. Absolute full on fucking nonsense. Um, like the puzzle in Hellraiser. I've never seen. Oh, the puzzle box in Hell. I've never seen Hellraiser, but I assume that's a reference to uh, the special, which is on Amazon, by the way. Go watch it. Good movie. Weird movie. Go watch it. Why is this even a talking point? Like South Park, the semen carbon ass. All I have to do is suck it out of a. It has been so long since I've seen South Park. I do not know what that is in reference to, but it sounds fucking hilarious. uh, good God. Why is this even talking point? No one knows. Hey, good point. uh, Cross gynecologist off your potential career. See, but that's the thing. Potential career gynecologist. Like what's in that. Well, no. Like, okay, like what's there, right? Like what you're getting yourself into. Like there it is. It's there. You know what it's connected to. You know who it is, and all that stuff. Now, when it comes to doctor and shit, you're not dealing with healthy people. You're dealing with all the people and the whole spectrum between healthy and not healthy, and pristine to not, and like glorious to horrifying. You got the whole fucking spectrum. And most people don't bring their cars into the mechanic shop unless it needs work done, is what I'm saying. So yeah, doctor in general is off my career list. I do not want to be any kind of I don't want to be doing manicures for people who have fucking claws on their feet. Ugh, the Tobro shit on ugh, the Tobro shit on YouTube just drives me. Ugh, ugh. They're like clipping those fucking talons off these people's feet who are too fat to be able to touch their own toes or see their own toes. And it's like, how does your shit get like that? Yeah. Homemade, homemade down home. Bluebell, the best ice cream in the country. I should get my guitar for this. Bluebell, the best ice cream in the country. Ah, we eat all we can and we sell the rest. Bluebell ice cream is simply the best. Bluebell, the best ice cream in the country. Hmm. All right. Pimple Popper and Toe Bro are some of the best YouTube content, by the way. uh, anyway, all right. So where were we? Where were we? Back to chat. Thank you guys for thoroughly grossing me out today. Fucking glory holes and Talon gynecologist and toe bro and God, what else are you gonna steer me into? You fucking weirdos. Um, having your junk clamped on the other side of the hole is called divorce. I don't want to use it, but nobody else is gonna have me fucking use this thing either. You son of a bitch. Oh Jesus. Oh God damn it. Oh man, guys. This is why I like doing the shows. This is why I like doing my Wednesday night shows. My happy hour. Whenever I do my happy hour. It's usually Wednesday night, 10 p.m., Old Humble happy hour. Usually it's tonight. Last week it was Sunday. The week before that, I think I had to do it Thursday. Whatever. I love doing my happy hour programs. The reason I love doing my happy hour programs is because I absolutely fucking love interacting with you guys. Y'all make me laugh. And it's a legit, profound, funny laugh. Like it amuses the fuck out of me. I appreciate it. Uh, but oh Christ. I know you're Ting Ting Princess. You're not. You're not that incognito that I don't know who you are. Um, missed my live streams for a while during the day. Oh, I am going to. I will. I will be. Well, we'll be resuming live streams at the distillery because the temperature is finally abating. It's not 115 degrees inside the distillery. I'll be able to actually work in the distillery, and in a couple of weeks, we're starting the build out of our tasting rooms. So we'll be doing live streams during the day, during the build out. I don't like doing live streams during the day when I have tastings in the evening because I don't like being worn out and tired during the tastings. I like to have my energy because my energy it feeds. But mostly during this last 3, 4, geez, since the middle part of August. So it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks now. Mostly these last 6 weeks, I've been doing work from the house, my home office here, the pandemic studio of the Old Dumble Distilling Company, working out of my home office, ordering supplies, getting stuff put together, logistical stuff. I drove to Laredo. I've been doing tastings, driving to Fort Worth and Dallas and Austin, and haven't had any in San Antonio. I had one in Corpus Christi, but I was sick. Last week I was spent being sick from the Tuesday after Labor Day, the day after Labor Day. Pretty much that week I was down with just a nasty cold. I didn't have COVID. I didn't have COVID because, like the former guy said, if you don't test for it, you don't have it. So I didn't test for it, so I didn't have it. But I never had a fever. It was like 99, 99.5, 99.5 was the highest fever I had for a week. That's why I didn't have the show on Wednesday last week. I felt like shit. I slept probably 12 full hours on Wednesday. I slept. I was sleeping for 12 hours. That's more that's more sleep than I get in like 3 days. Weird. But just exhaustion. Slept the whole day, didn't want to do the show, didn't want to do the show the next day. I probably could have done the show Saturday. I I had energy Saturday. For the first time in a week, I had energy. I was like, I'm feeling good. But I had other stuff to do Saturday, if you know what I mean. So I did that, and then Sunday I did the show. So, uh, or did I do the show on Saturday? Did I do the show on Saturday and then I had energy on Sunday? Hmm, can't remember. But y'all can look back and see when the show was. I don't have to fucking hold your hand for this shit. But anyway, I appreciate that, Ting, and I'm glad to have you around. I really am. I'm glad to have you around. Glad to have you around. Glad to have you on the show. Glad to have your input. Glad to have glad to have you as part of the family. Uh, I love my weirdos. I love all my weirdos. Y'all are all my. It's hard to have that many favorite people, but I mean, it's really when I see the names pop up, I'm like, oh shit, look, Sunfire's in the house, Bullrush is in the house. Holy shit, it's cool. I need to shave. Also, speaking of Bullrush, you and your razors, I need to shave. I need to knock this shit off my face. At least knock it down. Maybe I'll color it. Maybe I'll make it dark. Make it dark again. Tell you what, for a $50 super chat, I'll dye my beard blue tonight. For a $50, it will cost you $50 to make me dye my beard blue tonight. That I have, I will dye blue for $50. And there's what, 9, 10, 12 of you out there? Whatever. Merge up. Form a Voltron. Speaking of which, speaking of forming a Voltron, I made that reference in a group of kids this last week. Saturday morning? I think it was Saturday morning. Yeah, it was Saturday. This church thing that I went to. We were talking about the different parts of the church, whatever, comes to form one body, blah, 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 a whole church lesson diversity, blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, we could do like a skit, like a Voltron skit. And they all looked at me, they're like, what's a Voltron? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Y'all don't know what a Voltron is? What about Power Rangers? They're like, yeah, we're not familiar. We never watched Power Rangers. Like, how are you kids and you didn't watch Power Rangers? You didn't watch Voltron? What is. We are failing society. These kids don't know what's good. They don't know what's good. They don't know what's good. I mean, the only other example I could give was like the Harry Potter trilogy. There's like 19 books or whatever it was, but they all come together to form one story. But that's not nearly as good as Voltron. I'm just saying. All the robots all the lions all the spaceships come together and they form one giant robot. That's the whole lesson that we were talking about. Different parts of the church, one arm, one leg, one body, it's all one, but it's all one church. That was the whole point. How can you not read that and go fucking Voltron? But these kids were ignorant. They were oblivious, completely oblivious. I'm like, dude, it's a Voltron. Y'all do a Voltron skit. They're like, what's a Voltron? Let me do the stupid kid look. What's a Voltron? How do you not know what a Voltron is? You're 15. Homemade down home. Bluebell, the best ice cream in the country. Bluebell, the best ice cream in the country. It's like, the Star Wars trilogy, and then there was the prequels, and then the sequels, and it's 9 movies that come together to form 1.5 cohesive stories. It's like the parts are greater, or the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. That's what the whole point is. Transformers with their Constructicons and the beast bots that come together to form a giant super beast bot. I think GoBots even did a thing where they had a super bot. I mean, that was the whole thing that we were taught as kids. You merge together and you form something greater than what it is that you are by yourself. You and your friends. The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club did in 90 minutes what the Divergent series did in 3.5 movies. Maze Runner, 4 movies. Breakfast Club did it in 90 fucking minutes. Pretty in Pink. 16 Candles. All of these movies, all these coming of age movies that we saw in the 1980s and 1990s. They did this shit in 90 minutes. They told a tight story. Here's the story. Here's the narrative. Here it is. Done and done. Different parts coming together from a whole. Now they do it in 4 movies. This sounds like a drunk uncle rant. Hang on, let me do this. Twilight. Do it in 4 movies. They did it in 4 movies. Trilogy's 3. You don't know what trilogy means. Oh, kids. This is where I try to reset everything, get everything normalized again. What time is it? 12:30. We'll go 45 more minutes. What are we looking at in time? Just out of curiosity. Where's my timer? Here we go. Down. How are we looking at on time? I'm very attentive to the time. We've got 30 minutes, 19 views, 30 minutes per view. There's your fucking conspiracy. Here's your fucking... You want to know about your fucking conspiracy? Here's your fucking conspiracy. I do a video that giants aren't real. Because they're not. They're fucking mythical, cuckoo, crazy, stupid, fucking nonsensical bullshit. Giants aren't real. 10,000 fucking views. Giants aren't real. 10,000 fucking views. I do a stupid nonsense video reacting to a fucking appliance thing that's a fucking lemon juicer that it looks like a butt plug. And I'm like, no. Cross-contamination is the thing. You don't want to pull that thing out of your butt and juice a fucking lemon and jam it back in your butt because first off, your poop is going to be on the lemon, and second off, the lemon's going to be in your poop. Don't do that. The juicer video, 3,700 views. The next video after that was a reaction to some guy going, "Are lizard people running our country and enslaving human beings?" My response, no, they're not. That's nonsense. Fucking crazy. That's got 7 fucking views. 7. Giants are fake. 10,000. Don't use a juicer as a butt plug. 4,000. Lizard people aren't running the government and kidnapping human beings. 7. You think Google's suppressing that? Maybe? Ooh, conspiracy. You know what the next one was? That's fucking nonsense about Warrant's cherry pie video. Also 7. But that's not important. Facts aren't relevant. What's relevant is that we're getting suppressed because I said lizard people aren't running the government and lizard people control Google. So lizard people are going to suppress my video content. And the reality is it's just a shitty video and didn't get a lot of engagement. I'm going to leave it up, see how many it eventually gets. It might get 50. Whatever, I don't care. I'm a distiller with a fucking YouTube channel. I'm not a YouTuber with a distillery. They can suck it. Gay frogs, anuses that are getting closer to your penises. That's the problem with everybody. Roar, roar, roar. That's my Alex Jones impersonation. I can send money now. Thank you. Refresh your cocktails. Let's go 15 more minutes. We're out of here. We're all about having fun. Good, wholesome nonsense. Good, wholesome, fun nonsense. All about nonsense. Whiskey-fueled nonsense. All about having fun. Don't think that within this nonsense that we're just like whatever goes. No, we got boundaries. We got like guardrails within reality. You know, like lizard people aren't a thing. The earth is round. Giants didn't exist. The Devil's Tower is a igneous basilisk. The earth actually is billions of years old. Yeah, I mean we have like we're the Civil War was about slavery. Like we have like rooted in fact and reality and like true shit, right? Opinions are opinions. There's interpretation of reality. There's interpretation of fact. Like, I mean, that's a thing. You can debate whether how much James Fannin was a fucking traitor or not a fucking traitor. That's debatable. It's more debatable how much of an idiot that guy fucking was, because he was an idiot. I've been of the opinion for years that he was a traitor, but I'm leaning now more towards the idiot world. The facts surrounding his death shows he was more of an idiot than a traitor. Anyway, regardless, we have guardrails, for reality. 2 + 2 still equals 4 here, but we're committed. I am 100% committed to good, wholesome, whiskey-fueled nonsense. Wholesome, like, 45 minutes talking about glory holes. And getting your junk caught on the other side of a fucking hole. I mean, we're grown-ups here. We can talk about wholesome shit and be grown-ups at the same time. Anyway. But what it boils down to, in the grand scheme of things, you have a long table and plenty of whiskey. And everybody gets along. Long table, plenty of whiskey. That's it. If you ain't got enough seats at the table, get a longer table. Plenty of whiskey. Make sure everybody drinks. And I'll add, just because you get in a fight doesn't mean you have to be mortal enemies forever. I mean, one of my favorite videos on the internet is those two fucking Aussies who get in a fight on their on the bus, and at the end of it, they're just like, "I just want to get home," and they hug each other. They hug it out at the end. They're throwing haymakers at each other, And then at one point they're like, "This is stupid. This is stupid. It's all right, mate. It's all right." And they hug, and then they're done. And the dude gets off at the next stop, and then the dude gets off at his stop, and then they're done. They fought for like 5 minutes because they were having a shitty day and they need to get it out. I'm down. I am down. We're not supposed to talk about Fight Club, but I'm down for Fight Club. Throw a couple of punches. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Get it out of your system. Blow off some steam. Maybe that's what glory holes are for. I don't know. Blow off some steam. Get it out of your system. Throw some punches at each other. Relax. Have a drink. Sit down and chill. You know what makes that black guy feel better? A couple of shots of whiskey. I mean, just, you know, get it out of your fucking system. Whatever it is, wherever it's pinned up. Have a drink. Get a longer table. Add more people to your party. Talk to strangers. Get the candy out of the van. Do it. Don't do it. Don't go to the van. Stranger with the candy in the van. Don't go to him. That's a bad idea. And lizard people are nonsense. I'm sorry. Be discerning in what it is that people tell you, what it is you attempt to believe. Be discerning. Think it through. Just think it through. Think it all the way through. Was it a conspiracy to give George Bush the presidency in 2000? No, there was no conspiracy in 2000 to give George Bush the presidency. Al Gore stopped fighting because he respected the rule of law and the Constitution. He could have carried that motherfucker out for another month and fucked everything up. He had a legitimate beef. Excuse me. If you look at the details of what happened in Florida, like each county had its own like rules. And George Bush was like, look, if you're going to recount 6 counties, recount all the counties. Made sense. That was a reasonable statement. Like, you can't just recount 5 places. Recount them all. Redo all the districts. If you're going to come up with 92 votes in Miami, well, what about Jacksonville? What about Tuscaloosa? What about the Panhandle? You think you can't come up with 92 more votes if you recount by hand? That was the whole point in 2000. 2000. That was the whole point. They weren't doing equal protection under the law. 13th Amendment shit. Actually, next week we might talk about the 14th Amendment. Might be a fun talking point. Anyway, probably talk about glory holes, but you're shit in a fucking dark hole again. Some other weird sex kink. I've got 10 hours of watch time tonight. 20 times 30 divided by 60 is 10 hours. I've got 10 hours. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Probably. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Anyway, what I'm saying is be awesome to each other. Love with reckless abandon. Care about your neighbor. But don't just care from a distance like, oh, I hope they're doing okay. Go ask them if they're doing okay. Knock on their door. They come and answer the door, be all like, hey, you doing okay? Like, yeah, we're fine. Like, okay, cool. You want a drink? Make dinner. Like, okay, cool. Like, talk to you later. Bye. That's it. Offer it. Let it be turned down. Offer it. Be turned down. Love with reckless fucking abandon. Be turned down. That's how the world gets better. That's how the world gets better. Every fucking day. You throw your shit out there, See who latches on. They latch on, bring them in. They don't, fuck them. Let them go. And by your shit, I mean like love, bait. You know, this is a fisherman's analogy, not a glory hole or sex thing. Y'all are weird. Y'all are gross. Get out of the gutter. Come back up with me up here on top. Be awesome to each other. That's what I'm saying. Be awesome to each other. Are we there yet? 12:30. I'm gonna go a little bit. I've timed this very badly. This closing monologue I've timed very badly. I was supposed to do this at about. I thought my clock said 12:55. It says 12:35. Anyway, what I'm saying is be awesome to each other. Facts matter. Believe in the facts. Act on facts. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Don't believe every fucking conspiracy theory that comes your way. They're almost all make believe. They're almost all based on a fucking movie. Almost all of them. Give me a conspiracy theory and I will give you a movie that is based on. Challenge me. I dare you. I will give you the movie. It may take me a little while. In fact, I might put that in a post. Give me a conspiracy theory, and I'll give you the movie that's based on. And it can't. I'm not talking about a documentary based on the conspiracy theory. No, I mean I will give you the movie that conspiracy theory is based upon. Because almost all conspiracy theories are based on a movie, or there's been a movie made about the conspiracy theory. That's a possibility. But this whole stupid COVID conspiracy nonsense was released from a lab and it's biomedical and it's supposed to be created so that you get the vaccine and the vaccine will make you sterile. Based on a TV series. Full on TV series. Russian collusion was actually real. But the TV show that it would have been comparable to would have been okay. So the reality of it, hang on, time out. The reality of it was that they actually bought ads. They actually try. It depends on what you mean by Russian collusion, because what you mean by Russian collusion may not be what actually happened. Because what actually happened was, and this is what we know based on the Senate report of what actually happened, is that Paul Manafort gave election internal polling information to Andrei Derikov, whatever the dude's name was, the Russian oligarch, who then handed it over to the KGB or the FSB, whatever it is, who then ran their psyops based on the 4 states that needed to be influenced. That's what we know. Now, that's not to say that the Donald Trump campaign asked for that activity. There's no evidence that that's what happened. There's no evidence that the campaign said, you do this, we'll do that. There was no coordination. But there was an understanding that this is the market in which it's being created, and we will work within this market. Which, I mean, if I were selling something on Amazon, I'm not going to tell Amazon, this is how you need to do your work. I'm going to find out from Amazon how they do their work, and then I'm going to work within their work, within their structure, within their umbrella to sell my products. Collusion is a two-way street. there was no such thing as collusion. There was no two-way activity. There was no coordination. Collusion requires coordination. That wasn't a thing that happened. So that particular conspiracy theory, the movie, there was a movie foreign where a foreign government controls U.S. election. Uh, that was a movie. That was a movie. That was a movie. Manchurian Candidate. No, it's not quite Manchurian Candidate because Manchurian Candidate would have been a brainwashed candidate. That was what they thought Obama was going to be, a Manchurian Candidate. Um, but that's vaguely the same operation where the notion was that Trump was a foreign operative running for president working on behalf of a foreign government. So Manchurian Candidate might be in the case of in the case of uh, mutual cooperation. The theory being that they were mutually cooperating, which wasn't what was happening. In the case of mutual cooperation, that would be Manchurian Candidate. That would be the movie. There you go, Manchurian Candidate. But again, depends on what you mean by Russian collusion. Because if you mean what actually happened versus what they said would happen, like what they said was happening, I mean, dude, the shit we were hearing about the dossier and the PP tape and all the shit that was in like he was a full on foreign agent. Nah, that's not what was. No, he was no full on foreign agent. That's not that. A useful fucking moron. Yeah, definitely a useful fucking moron. But um, foreign government that was paid for in opposition. Yeah, the opposition. I mean, that's what it was. It was opposite. The whole dossier was collusion or not collusion. The whole on dossier was foreign opposition research. Some of it good, some of it bad. It was, I mean, some of it, none of it was disproved. Some of it was proved. But you know, it's hard to disprove a thing that doesn't exist. You know, you can't the piss tape was never disproved. The existence of a P tape was never disproved. But there's no evidence that there's a P tape. That Russia has a P tape on Donald Trump. There's no fucking evidence of that. There's no evidence that it exists. There's also no evidence that it doesn't exist. So, like, nothing in the dossier was disproven, but only a handful of the things was proven. So, I mean, it's like, yeah. Now he was definitely not a foreign agent, um, but he was definitely a useful idiot that could be used by foreign agencies. I mean, this is the son of a bitch that stood on a fucking stage in Helsinki and said, "Yeah, I believe this guy over our fucking security intelligence services." Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, but no, not a foreign agent. Not a foreign agent. Just a dumb son of a bitch who would fucking believe anything that anybody told him. Russian collusion does not. No, there was no collusion. By the definition of collusion, no, there was no collusion. By the definition of collusion, because collusion requires uh, mutual operations between the two parties. Collusion is when uh, three or four airlines come together and say, "Okay, this is how we're going to do pricing." Collusion is when the different companies that make light bulbs say, "Okay, we're going to make these light bulbs last 2 years." There was no collusion. because there was no, you do this, we'll do that. Collusion was would have required two parties to working together. What happened was not that. There's no indication that that's what happened. Rather, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, but that's the reality of the thing. There's no indication that that's what happened. What happened, as far as we can tell, was that there was activity on the one side. Everyone was saying, or on the one side, they were saying, we're going to make a market where this happens. Uh, Paul Manafort was in debt. Andre Deripaska, that was the fucking name. He was in fucking debt to Andre Deripaska. He owed money to the Russian oligarchs, like out the fucking eyes. And he settled his debt by saying, here you go. Here's the information that we need. This was laid bare by Bob Mueller. Laid bare. This is why Manafort went to jail, among other things. He gave and he handed over that information. He handed over the internal polling information. What was it? Wisconsin, uh, Pennsylvania. I can't remember the other two states, but it was basically those four states, and this was this was the statistical weird thing that everybody looked at and like that's odd, but it happens. It's not. There was no. So the statistically weird thing was that these four states final numbers were within the margin of error, opposite of what expected, but outside of the automatic recount number. Okay? So if the margin of error is plus or minus 2.5%, they were projected to be called, 1.5% to the left. They ended up being 1.5% to the right, but outside of, like 2.5% is 5 percentage points, right? So that's a 5 percentage point swing. So if it's 50%, 45 to 55, a 5 percentage point swing. So it was inside of the standard error, but outside of the automatic recount. Like these were the closest four states. And the total result was less than 40,000 votes. Less than 40,000 votes determined the 2016 election. And they were all in the four states, they were within the margin of error and outside the automatic recount. And it happened four times inside of one election. Statistically curious. And these also happen to be the same states that, they're like, this is your fucking conspiracy. This is the conspiracy theory. All four of those states happen to be part of the election data that Manafort handed over to Deripaska. You want a conspiracy? There it is. Now, the broader conspiracy is the Manchurian Candidate situation, where he's a operative that was turned by the Soviets or by the Russians versus the Chinese. Manchurian Candidate was China. In this case, it would be Russia. He was an operative turned by the Russians, and that was the whole story of the dossier. That he was. They had sex tapes. He was cultivated. They had uh, apartments and condos in Trump Tower. They communicated with him on a regular basis. They worked with him with Miss Universe or Miss America or whatever fucking pageant it was. They had in Moscow. He was chasing clout, chasing business deals, trying to get the curry favor, and they were able to use that. Yeah, that's all. That's a Manchurian Candidate, 100% Manchurian Candidate shit. The difference with Manchurian Candidate was that he was brainwashed, hypnotized, and trigger some kind of trigger thing to get him to do their bidding, whatever. But you know, I mean, if you want to go conspiracy theory route, Manchurian candidate. That was Donald Trump. Donald Trump's Manchurian candidate. But that was also what they were saying about Barack Obama, that he was raised in madrasas, that he was a Chinese operative, that he was a Muslim operative, that he was a secret Muslim, that he was born in Kenya, that he wasn't really American, that he was trying to subvert American democracy and turn us into a socialist state and hand over our state secrets to blah, 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 whatever. But like there was literally nothing that supported any of that, any of it at all. I mean, the dude went to a Christian church, but he was a secret Muslim. Yeah, he had a. Yeah, we spent 4 years talking about his fucking birth certificate. Like the Manchurian candidate shit for Barack Obama was off the fucking rails. And again, you trace that shit back to Americans believing all kinds of fucking nonsense. All kinds of fucking nonsense. Shit that has absolutely no bearing in reality. You can trace all of that shit back to the first major event that you can think of that happened in the social media age. What was that first event that happened in the social media age? September 11, 2001. That was the thing. The 9/11 attacks. The fucking 9/11 truthers. The first major event that you can think of that happened in the social media age. What happened in 2000? What happened in 1999? Nah, that's too far back. 2000, 2001. What happened between the turn of the century when all the planes were supposed to crash into the ground, but they didn't? In 2001, it was bigger than 9/11. Nothing. Nothing was bigger than 9/11. And that laid the groundwork for people believing fucking nonsense like Obama's a Manchurian candidate, to believing fucking nonsense like election data was rigged and a whole fucking insurrection. People believing that Hillary Clinton was some kind of master fucking criminal. Bill Clinton was some kind of master fucking criminal. That Benghazi was planned and staged for months to cover up emails or some other fucking nonsense. 9/11, the tragedy of 9/11, 3,000 people died on that day. That directly led to over 1 million people dying from COVID. Straight line. Straight fucking line. I mean, it's a tragedy. The day itself was a tragedy. But the tragedies that led from that day, compounding. It's, yeah, it sucks. And that's the world we live in today. The world we live in today was forged on the rubble of the Twin Towers, because we live in a world today where people will believe and repeat absolute fucking nonsense. Absolute fucking nonsense. And it's insane. It is absolutely insane. They believe and repeat nonsense that's literally based on movies that they've seen, TV shows that they've seen, stuff that they've seen, and they're like, "Oh, that's real life." Like, no, that's a TV show. That's Utopia. That's a SVU episode. That's an episode of ER. That's an episode of that's a fucking Star Wars. That's literally the plot to Star Wars Clone Wars. That's literally the plot to the 10th episode. That's literally an Indiana Jones movie. I mean, like, what the fuck are you people thinking? What are you doing? What are you talking about? This is a movie. We've seen this movie. Like, holy shit. You're sitting there minding your own business. You're watching a movie. You're like, holy fuck, this is what Kevin McCarthy was talking about in March. Are you kidding me? Anyway, um, on we go. Yeah, I don't have any problem talking about damn near anything. But like I said, I'm going to do my damnedest to root myself in reality. When I don't know, I'll admit it, but I'm not gonna fucking I'm gonna try my best not to veer off into things. Like I'll say what's speculation. If it's speculation, I'll say it. I mean, it is what it is. Um, People had the conversation. We find ourselves forced to these, and that's exactly what I mean. Like you think it out, you think it through. Like when they talk about like Bush stole the 2020 or 2000 election. Like it was a conspiracy to steal the 2000 election. Like really? Like Nixon Nixon appointed Supreme Court justices with the instruction to steal the election 30 years later. Really? Like he's going to be all like here's a conspiracy. What we're going to do and the turn of the century, we're going to have an election. It's going to be the winner is going to lose the popular vote, but the loser is going to win the popular vote. And what we need to have is, well, like, do you even fucking think this shit through? Like, what would it require? You have to have 4 presidents participating in this conspiracy to steal an election that they don't even know is going to happen that way? Like, that's not a conspiracy. You don't even know what a conspiracy is. Like, you can debate whether or not that's right or wrong, whether they did it right, whether they did it wrong. But, like, what it boils down to is in the 2000 election, like, they were bound by the law. They were bound by the rule. And the biggest mistake that the Gore camp made is they didn't say recount the whole state. If they'd have recounted the whole state, then they wouldn't have had an argument. Because the argument was that you're treating this county, this county, this county, and this county different from that county, that county, that county, and that county. Disparate treatment under the law. That is the 13th Amendment problem. Can't do that. Can't do that. You can't treat some of the votes different than the other votes. You're under the state law of Florida. All of votes have to be counted the same, in the same way. If you're going to recount Dade County, you got to recount Tuscaloosa, and you got to recount, or not Tuscaloosa, Tallahassee. You got to recount them all. That was Al Gore. And by the way, Al Gore didn't even win his own fucking state. Tennessee didn't even vote for Al Gore. So he was not a good candidate. There's no question about that. He was not a good candidate. If he would have won Tennessee, his home state, Florida wouldn't have mattered. Let's not relitigate the past. This was not a conspiracy. This was Al Gore being a shitty candidate, bad at his job. What was his job? Win the presidency. He failed badly. Anyway, where are we at? But he's intelligent, strong, competent, no conspiracy. I mean, he's old. You left that out. He's old, but he is intelligent, strong, and I don't know about strong. He's old. He's probably feeble. He's an old man. You could probably push him down, break several of his bones pretty easily. He is intelligent. And he is competent. But I would also take Kamala Harris over Mike Pence every fucking day of the week. I'd take Kamala Harris over Donald Trump every fucking day of the week. Anyway, but there's that. He apologized. He did not apologize for America for years. But where he was born matters because that is a part of the Constitution. The Constitution says you can't be president unless you were born in the United States, which, by the way, Ted Cruz, not natural. Well, he's not a natural born citizen of the United States. He was a Canadian born naturalized citizen of the United States, but he is born from Canada of United States citizens, which makes him technically eligible. But Ted Cruz is also a piece of shit, and anthropomorphic pieces of shit are not humans. And I think while it doesn't state explicitly you have to be human to be president, it does say that people can be citizens. I believe, like somewhere in the text, it says that the people have a right to be president or something to that effect. And if you are a anthropomorphized piece of shit, then you are technically not a person. So uh, that matters. Yeah. Anyway, as much a war manager as Clinton and Bush, oh, they were all fucking war managers. Uh, to his credit, Obama tried to wind them down, but he was kind of mired in the thing. He was. There's a lot to be said about the expansion of the extrajudicial killing spree. And Obama had issues with it too. He said, like, look, I can send a drone out to kill a guy. That shouldn't be how things are. Like he said this shit. He's like, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm sorry, I just bumped my desk. I'm not comfortable with this. Like, I can do it. And he did it several times. He sent a drone out to boom, eliminate a dude. He did that shit several times. And he said it out loud. He said the quiet part. He's like, that shouldn't be a thing. And then he hit the button and do it again. Like, this shouldn't be allowed. This shouldn't be allowed either. This shouldn't be allowed. He fucking murdered people extrajudicially again and again and again and again and again. We have flying death robots. And he hit that button again and again and again and again. That should be problematic to people. You're driving down the freeway on your way to work. And then all of a sudden, you're gone, your car's gone, and now you got traffic backed up for 6.5 miles behind you. That should not be a thing. That should not be a thing that happens anywhere in the world. Anywhere. Ever. If we're going to go to war, we should go to war. We shouldn't be having fucking death robots flying around the world picking off our enemies. That's not a thing that should ever fucking happen. And he wasn't cool with that. He said he wasn't cool with that. But, as part of the job, you do what you do. I did a lot of shit in my former jobs that I didn't like what I did. Hell, Jesus Christ, I make poison. Alcohol is a carcinogen. It causes cancer. It kills you. It kills you slowly. I'm not cool with that. I want you to drink responsibly. I want you to have it in moderate doses. Like, we do shit in our jobs that we're not like entirely comfortable with. But, it's like, hey, drink responsibly, drink moderately, drink responsibly, you'll be fine. But if you're pounding a bottle of whiskey every night, you're fucking gonna die early. Don't do that. I can't stop you. But, like, seriously, don't. And that was, he said that repeatedly. That like this is legal and this is allowed and I can do this, but I shouldn't be allowed to do this. And this is the type of power that's going to be in the hands of another president, then y'all aren't going to like that. And he said that again and again. He was a constitutional law scholar. He knew what the fuck he was talking about. I mean, that's, that's how it goes. Reminder, for every $1 of super chats y'all give, you get an extra name, you get an extra item slot on the Wheel of Doom and Glory in October. The wheel gets spun one time to remove a name, and then one time to select a name for a winner of a gift pack of our whiskeys, which is a sample pack of our 4 whiskeys, straight whiskey, Special Reserve, Double Oak Rye, and Boomtown Bourbon, plus a cigar from our friends at the Smoking Room, or Hereford Cigars, or Divine Leaf. All delicious cigars. One of those will be added to the pack with our 4 sample whiskeys. Everybody who gets into chat gets into the wheel. Every week you get into chat, you get into the wheel. You want to add your name to the wheel more times, get a super chat. That's how you go. $2 super chat, I will take a shot because it is happy hour, and that's how you buy me a drink. And then if we get $100 worth of super chats, I will dye my beard blue. Anyway, hopefully I will never get $100 worth of super chats. Because that sucks, because I don't want to dye my beard blue. So, that said, let's get back to chat. That was a moment for our sponsors, which is me. Was as much a war manager as Clinton and Bush. I think Bush was probably more of a war manager since he started 2. Obama started 0. Clinton started... Did Clinton start any? He finished the war in Somalia that Bush started during his lame duck series or session. Did Clinton start any new operations? He maintained the no-fly zone. He launched missiles. Did Clinton? Clinton launched an operation against Haiti. He launched the Haitian intervention, or he started the Haitian intervention, but Carter subverted that and stopped it from happening because he was on the ground and negotiated peace before the bombers dropped bombs. Did Clinton start a war? What war did Clinton start? You got to help me out with that one. I know he had operations, but I'm not sure he started a war. I can't remember what Clinton started. Always at war with Eurasia. Yeah, well, not Eurasia. That's the Orwellian statement. America has been at war since 9/11 with terrorism, which has been through Africa, mostly Africa. The northern portions of Africa, as well as the Middle East, across to Pakistan. You can literally draw a circle around North Africa all the way to Afghanistan and back. That's where America's been mostly at war since then. There's several books detailing this, the war zone and the North Africa section. It's not so much a active war as a military presence in that Saharan area of Africa, the northern part of Africa. There's a presence, mostly Djibouti, over on the eastern northeast side, Djibouti, north Somalia, south of Ethiopia. That we have a major presence in Djibouti. That is a big hub for African operations. But we have bases all throughout, and they're not necessarily heavily manned, but it's counterterrorism operations because Al Qaeda has been heavily recruiting in that area, and you also see the places where Wagner's operating, which is where there's a tremendous amount of unrest and Russia trying to assert their influence as well. Any hoodles. But yeah, we've been at war throughout, and it's mostly been like that stretch of land. I mean, you can almost draw a circle around it. But it's a circle and then a big oval over the North Africa area. Central Africa, not so much. South of the Sahara, north of Kenya, not so much. It's been fairly stable. But that North African part, especially around the Sahara where there's oil, yeah, there's been a lot of activity. Collateral damage, women and children. JLM, you have been added to our Wheel of Doom and Glory. Just so you know, I wrote it down while I saw your name, wrote it down. You are right there. JLM, you're on my list. You will be added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. We spin the wheel twice. Once for Doom, once for Glory. We spin the wheel for Doom, we spin the wheel for Glory. The Wheel of Doom spin takes your name off. Not all instances, just the one, just as the wheel of the spin for glory wins you the prize just the once, not for every entry. But for every time you get into a chat on our live stream, you get added to the wheel of doom and glory. For every super chat for $1 offered for in a super chat, you will be added to the wheel of doom and glory. So $10 gets you 10 additional entries, $20, 20 additional entries, $100, you get 100 additional entries, and I dye my beard blue. Gross. Anyway, let's come together as humans, be against war and bureaucratic overreach. Good communities, pro-human. I am a big fan of being pro-human. Humans tend to be the worst possible things, but also the best possible things. They are capable of both, and that's one of the cool things about human beings. Human beings they have inside them the ability to be absolutely evil and absolutely good. And the best humans are are basically average, and that's pretty fucking cool because on average we do a lot of good. We tend our garden. We plant seeds that grow fruit, and those fruit have seeds and plant multiple gardens for each fruit. We plant orchards of trees under whose shade we will never rest. We literally plant seeds for future generations to enjoy, and that is one of the coolest things about people in general is that we will do things as mature adult humans, knowing full well that we will not reap the rewards of the efforts that we put in. And I find that to be a poetically beautiful thing. Like, we will go out in our 80s and 90s and plant trees. And we will sit back and think that we did a good thing because our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren will rest under the canopies of those trees and feel shade. They will feel comfort and shade, and they will know that the generations that came before them loved them before we even knew they existed. Because that's what we do as human beings. We build worlds that we'll never live in. We build worlds that benefit people that we don't even know. And that's also one of the greatest disappointments that we have in the previous generations that came before us, because they built, especially the previous generation that came before us, because they've built a world in which we have to fix, because they have undone so much of what the previous generations did. And we have to undo that undoing. And that's the greatest challenge, not only to our generation, but also the generations following behind us. To fix what has been undone over the course of the last 40 years. Because they have undone a lot, in the name of fake boogeymen that don't exist. And it's frustrating because a lot of those people that did that will not get out of the way and let the rest of us fix shit. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's running for fucking re-election. The boomers need to fucking retire or die and get out of the fucking way. Let us do the work that needs to be done. Move on already. Jesus. Anyway, can't wait to go Screamers. What? Screamers. What? 3 counties. What? I can't deal with screamers on the job. I don't know what that means. Is it too late? Never too late to do it. It's never, you're right, Lou. It's never fucking too late to do the right thing. There's always hope. There's always time. There's always hope. There's always hope. We may not be able to undo all the damage that's been done, but we can do better. We can always do better. I would be Bluebeard. I would be Bluebeard. Somalia. Kosovo. That's right. Bill Clinton did Kosovo. We didn't have boots on the ground in Kosovo, though. That was an air campaign. That was an air campaign. Pure air campaign. It was just a bombardment, and it wasn't U.S., it was NATO. It wasn't just U.S., it was NATO. And Somalia wasn't started by Clinton. Clinton had to manage that shit. It was started by Bush before him. Kosovo was started by Clinton. Kosovo was absolutely started by Clinton. But it was a NATO operation. NATO bombardment. They bombed Kosovo or Serbian positions. But yeah, that was a Clinton operation. That's right. That I had forgotten about that. That was a pure Clinton operation. But it was also a NATO operation. That was not a Operation Just Cause or Operation what the fuck did they call the operation? Desert Shield, Desert Storm, whatever. It wasn't that. It was a NATO operation over Kosovo. All these people hate America. Come on. Look at that. But can I believe the inertia can be overcome. Absolutely, 100%. Bomb the Chinese embassy during the Yugoslav war. Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah, I mean, that's. I know they did it. I know that happened. I find it hard to believe they did it on purpose. I mean, like that happened. That was the thing. That was definitely a thing that happened. Bombs fell on the Chinese embassy in Yugoslavia. But again, like I was saying earlier, like Roosevelt probably knew that the attack was coming on Pearl Harbor and allowed it to happen, but didn't call the Japanese and say, yeah, do this thing. There's a difference between allowing it to happen and causing it to happen. I don't think they did it on purpose. I, I don't think that the order came to bomb the embassy. I think I think they fucked up. I think that was a legit fuck up. Like they fucked that all up. Um, Oh, I firmly believe it's between us and them. I just believe it the them is the fucking oligarchs and rich motherfuckers who are who are who are telling us that it's the Mexicans. It's 100% us versus them. Who's deciding how much you make? Who's deciding your salary? Who's deciding how much money you take home? Who's deciding how much your stocks improve every year? Who's deciding how much of the growth of the economy goes to your paycheck? How much of the growth of the economy goes to your retirement? Like, there's a team of accountants who are deciding how much income the business earned this year based on their fucking deductions and adjustments and movements and all the shit. That's what the accountants are paid to do. They're supposed to make 2.5% this year. The accountant's job is to make sure they make 2.5% this year. That's their fucking job. You've got a Wall Street expectation. Hit the Wall Street expectation. Not a dollar more, not a dollar less. A dollar less, we lose millions of dollars. A dollar more, we give up that revenue next year. They're deciding how much of the company's profit that you make, you get. It's definitely an us versus them situation. 100% an us versus them situation. The issue is who's the them. And if we can agree on who the them is, then labor, farmers, workers, non-management employees, salaried employees get together and we run this shit. Anyway, and I say that as a business owner. Like, as a business owner, I'm like, yeah, you fucking workers, you need to understand how we work. Like, I have specific motivations as a business owner. Very specific motivations as a business owner. Like who I answer to. Shareholders. Not stakeholders, shareholders. The mayor of the city of Houston came to me at an event the other day. Like, I really wish y'all would be back in the city of Houston. I'm like, yeah, I really wish the fucking fire marshal wouldn't have run us out of town. I have an obligation, not to our stakeholders, which would have been the city of Houston or the city of Humble. The city of Humble ran me out of town. They're not our stakeholders anymore. I have an obligation to my shareholders, like the people who put up money to help me start this business. That's who I have an obligation to. But if it was an obligation to stakeholders, then me pulling up stakes and leaving town and going somewhere where I had a better tax operation, of a cheaper operating baseline, I'd do that in a heartbeat. But by the obligation of stakeholders, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't do that in my head because this town that I work in has given me tax abatements, has built infrastructure, has brought in workers, has done all these things to help me be successful as a company. But then I can be all like, "Oh, fuck you guys, I'm going over here." That's the city of St. Louis, Missouri, and St. Louis, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, do this all the time. There's companies moving back and forth across the border between Missouri and Kansas, Missouri and Kansas, Missouri and Kansas, based on tax abatements and incentives because they have no obligation to their stakeholders. They have no obligation to the community. They have no obligation to the workers that work in the state in which they operate. No obligation to those guys whatsoever. Only obligations to their shareholders. And that is a result of bad business philosophy, not bad business operation. It results in bad business operation because you start doing things that are outside of your normal operation instead of spending resources on finding better supplies, better processes, better markets. You're now spending resources on finding better tax abatements and incentives to move your business to another location. It's not the them that we think it is. The them that we think it is, they got nothing to do with the problems. The them that we think it is the them that they tell us who it is. And we're like, oh, it's the fucking immigrants. It's the poor people. That guy getting fucking crab meat with his goddamn EMT or EBT cards. Like, fuck it, who cares? He's using his EBT card to get crab meat. Fuck you. What do you care? He's not the problem. It's ExxonMobil getting preferential treatment in the tax code and not paying a goddamn dime in taxes for the last 25 years. That's who the fucking problem is. And if you raise a finger to them, they're just going to take their operations and go to Ireland. How is that? Like, fuck those guys. Fuck them. They're putting all the tax burden on me and they're just going to fuck off to Ireland when we're the ones who are making them all the fucking money? Fuck those guys. Away from large population zones. The excrement impacts the rotary impeller. Yeah, I mean, there was the French dude who was like, yeah, we either give this shit up or they're going to come after us with pitchforks and torches. What was his name? It'll come to me later. No big deal. Whatever. Fuck it. Oops, scroll up. Up. Where are we? There it is. All right, let's catch up to chat. I am what? Jesus, is it 2? 123. I am 20 minutes behind in chat. We filter sour mash into tasty alcoholic drinks. Yes. Fabulous thing about the tree and the shade. Thank you. Um, that. By the way, the tree of the shade. That is one of the most. That is one of the most poetic ways that I know to express my hope in humanity. Because we do that all the time, and it's not my expression. I read it somewhere else. It's we we do things. We create a future for that we're never going to live in. We plant trees under whose shade we will never rest. We put away um, savings. We build businesses. We get life insurance policies so that when we die, our kids will be taken care of. Our families will be taken care of. We invest ridiculous sums of money so that our families will be taken care of when we die. Like, I'm not going to see any of that. I'm going to be worm food, and my kids are going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm, we work on organizations that when we retire, we can look at those organizations and say, I did a thing for other people. And that is the highest, truest calling of what we do. We do things for other people. Like, we do shit for ourselves all the time. We kill it, we bring it back, we eat it. That's us, 100%. I want steak, I get steak, I eat steak. Me, selfish, all me, thank you. But I could also live in a 10 by 10 shack. My wife would hate it, my kids would hate it, but I'm happy. 10 by 10 shack. I can't have a 10 by 10 shack. I have to have a fucking house and a cul-de-sac in a fucking neighborhood with a goddamn CVS and a Walgreens and community splash pads and all the other shit that we have in fucking suburban America. Because my family wants it. Like, I was explaining this to my son. Like, most of what you do as a man is stuff for other people. You make other people happy. That's what you do as a man. You make other people happy. And women do it too. Women, they pour their lives out making other people happy, make their kids happy, make their husbands happy. We do the same thing. We make our wives happy. We make our kids happy. I need a thing. Okay, I'm going to go do the thing. I'll drop what I'm fucking doing and go do the thing. That's what we do. Most of your life is spent doing things for other people. We plant trees under the shade of which we will never, ever rest. And that is the purest, most beautiful expression of what humanity does. We and that I say that knowing full well that we're coming off of a generation of people who have cut down all as many of those trees as they possibly can. They've wrecked the social safety net. They've wrecked the civil rights safety nets. They've wrecked the environmental safety nets. They've wrecked so much of what was planted for future generations to rest under. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. These were the things that were supposed to be revisited and expanded and improved, but instead they cut taxes and starved the beast. I mean, think of what kind of road networks we'd have, what kind of infrastructure networks we'd have if we still had the tax structure that we had in the 1950s. If instead of cutting taxes, we would have maintained that and had this war chest, this treasure chest of funds that we could just unleash on freeways and bridges and buildings and mountain tops and fucking monumental things, anti-flooding operations, megalithic projects that would prevent flooding from coming into significant ship channels. Think of what we would have if instead of cannibalizing the wealth of our nation and handing it over to the 400 wealthiest people we have, if we had been responsible in our governance and said, at some point, we're going to need to replace everything we've built in the last 40 years. But for 40 years, we said, nah, we're never going to have to do this again. We'll let our great grandchildren worry about that. We'll let our grandkids plant new trees. We're going to take every one of these fucking trees that our parents and grandparents planted, and we're going to make popsicle sticks, or whatever the fuck the boomers did with it. Rather than cultivate those trees and cultivate those forests and cultivate that shade, now we're looking at, like, literally a world that is going to be too hot to inhabit. We could have had trillions of dollars available to us to completely convert, like that, from fossil fuels to more renewable fuels. But instead, we decided to squander that treasure. We could have had safe, efficient, abundant energy. But because, we believe stupid shit, we thought 3 Mile Island was going to create a slag of heat that was going to go through the entire earth and destroy the earth because of a fucking movie we watched. So we don't have, cheap, abundant electricity. We privatized it instead of expanded it because we couldn't possibly live under the canopy of shade from the trees that we planted in the 40s. No, couldn't possibly live under that shade. So we cut down all the trees in the 60s and 70s. All of the trees for the next 40 years. And now the children and grandchildren and great grandchildren of that generation are going to have to fucking build an entirely new future. Because that generation was like, no, I want some wood. And they cut down every fucking tree. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Anyway. Can all contribute to the greatness of the I was shocked about Lansing, Michigan, capital of Michigan. Looks like Detroit did 20 years ago. Because what was the Air Spirit campaign? U.S., NATO. Yeah, U.S. Yeah, kind of, but not entirely. We. Yeah and no, but yeah, also no. I mean, it's both. I mean, it's not like we put together a coalition and went in. It's like NATO was like, yeah, we're going to do this shit. And we're like, yeah, let's do this shit. Anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like we were like backseating it. We were like, can we fight? And NATO was like, yeah, we can fight. And we're like, okay, let's do it. I mean, we were there. We were in it, but this wasn't a, I mean, it's a nuance, but I mean, Clinton was the war in Kosovo, the air campaign over Kosovo was not equivalent to the war fought against Iraq, is what I'm trying to say. Those were not equivalent to each other. There is no world in which you can look at those two things and say, yeah, those are exactly the same thing. They're not. They're not. We contributed planes, we contributed money, we flew sorties, we blew some shit up, a lot of it. But to say that Kosovo and Iraq, Clinton and Bush, no. Clinton was there for 8 years. Bush was there for 4 years. Bush led an all-out fucking invasion of a country with 500,000 men on the ground, tanks, air power, air superiority, just the full fucking nine. Bill Clinton organized an air campaign in the Balkans. No men on the ground, not 500,000 personnel, no armor, no tanks. We didn't blow shit up. We didn't kill tens of thousands of men on the highway of death as we just like blew everything up. These are not equivalent. They're not. I mean, yeah, Kosovo was a full-on military operation, but it was not a full military. It was an air force. This was air superiority. That's it. And there may have been troops, but like we're talking special forces, individual units for specific missions, not a full-on fucking invasion. These are not equivalent. These are not equivalent things. This is not a debatable topic. Not even close. Not even close. This is like saying your Macy's parade in New York City is the same thing as your small town Christmas parade in, Jewett, Texas. They're not the fucking same thing. They are not even remotely close. Special ops at the ground, exactly. Not a full-on fucking invasion force. There's a storm thing about Iraqis, Kuwait babies, invaders. Yeah, exactly. That's another fucking thing that people fucking believe just because it was a thing. And that was a thing where it was like the Kuwaiti guys were like, yeah, this is how we can get them on our side. They're eating babies. They're fucking sautéing them with liver and onions and baby meat. And, yeah, it's delicious. I mean, they love it. Yeah, special ops is fucking involved all over the place. Frustrating as a worker, idiot leadership that knows nothing. Right? 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 Who doesn't have a fucking boss that's a fucking moron? Ugh. Subscribe. Who is them? Federal Reserve? Federal Reserve is not them. Federal government? No. Any institutions by the individual states. More so. No, it's not. I would disagree. I would argue that them is the moneyed elite. The 1%, the 10%, whatever fucking percent you want to set it at. These are the people that are literally buying politicians and setting policy and setting law to protect their wealth. And it's within their interest to protect their wealth. It's within their interest to protect their wealth. But when you look at the policies that get enacted that are popular support, it's like when it's got 75% of the support from the population, it has a 60% chance of getting enacted. But when it has a 60% chance of support of the top 10% of wealth owners in the country, then it has a 90% chance of being enacted. Then you know who runs the fucking country. And I've said before, and I'll say again, the way to fix this is to have more representatives, more representation, representation pegged to population. Expand the House of Representatives, expand the fucking Senate, expand the size of government significantly. Because the more representatives we have, the harder it is to buy a majority. The more representatives you have, the more chance you have to have regional factions and regional majorities and regional interest groups that can form coalitions, and it's harder to get a flat out nationwide majority. But if you only have two parties and you have limited representation because your representatives were capped in 1919 when the population of the United States was 10% of what the population is today, then you have a representation that is completely non-representative of the population of the United States. But enough of that. A lady from a law firm got in front of cameras and said a big lie. Six calls it NIMBYism. Yep, NIMBY is a thing. All right, JLM. Cheers. Good night. Thanks for joining us. Your name has been added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Tree and Shade quote is a Greek proverb. Thank you, Bull Rush. I appreciate that. I can always count on you to help me with literature. You can see that I disagree with so much. I can see that I disagree with so much of what Old Umble says. I can also see that I agree with so much. Let's focus on our commonalities. Build together. I mean, cheers. There you go. I can't argue with that. Let's focus on the commonalities. And that's the thing. The shit we agree on, almost always, if we can agree on the core principles and the important shit, domestic rule, local governments, individual liberties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, social compacts, growing as communities, looking out for one another, developing uh, uh, developing networks where we can grow and operate together and protect each other. Yeah, I'm down. We can agree on that shit. Done. That's it. We agree on that shit. And that's where it ends. And the way it's described, like in church parlance, it's you agree on the core principles, you disagree on the non-essentials, and you can debate the not the, you can debate the philosophical shit. The meaning, what the meaning of is. You can debate that shit, but you agree on the core principles. You agree on the rule of law. You agree on the on the supremacy of the law and that all men are subject to the law. We agree on that. Now we can disagree about whether or not the law is right or wrong, or whether the law is appropriate. We can disagree on that. And in some cases, if you agree that the law is wrong, then it is then your obligation to stand up against it because it's something that's wrong, and now you're now obligated to not comply. But for each one of us, that looks different. Non-compliance looks different. Obligation looks different. We're talking about debatable words at that point. But the extreme example is Nazi Germany. Are you obligated to you see that the law is wrong about ostracizing Jews? Are you obligated to take one in and protect one and put it in your attic? Hide people in your home. Are you obligated to do that because is your obligation then to disobey the law and help people subvert it, whether it's hiding them in your home or smuggling them out of the country? Is it your obligation? Did Oskar Schindler have an obligation to protect his workers, to save as many lives as he could because he felt that the Nazi rule was wrong? Did he have that obligation? Did all of the men and women who recognize the laws as wrong have an obligation within their means to defy the rule of law? Well, arguably, yeah, they did. Arguably. It's debatable. That's a debatable topic. That's a debatable point. Whether or not the rule of law in that particular circumstance was wrong or right is not a debatable point. Violation of human rights. But that's also something that's clear in retrospect. In the moment, it's less clear unless you have historical precedences to compare it against. So, yeah. And yeah, sometimes you do need to wear a mask. And not, that's that's a whole nother issue. Because I looked at it when I was wearing a mask like I was protecting myself from y'all. Y'all are filthy. Y'all are gross. I don't know where you put your tongue. I don't know where you put your mouth. I don't know what you've been doing, whatever. And wearing a mask is a visual. A lot of it's theater. Like the mask may not protect me from your germs, but it's also. Hang on. It's also a visual representation that I am separating myself from you. I am over here. I don't want to be near you. And I've been in more than one circumstance where I had a mask and I had gloves and I had I was doing tastings. This was October, November, December of 2020, the last half of December or of 2020. And I'm in Specs or I'm in Total Wine or whatever. I'm wearing a mask. I have gloves on. I'm visually and visibly trying to avoid contact with you. It's not, I mean, the mask may only do like whatever the mask does, but the avoiding contact, I've got gloves on. I don't want to shake your hand. You have any idea how many people want to fucking shake my hand while I'm doing tastings, while I'm serving like drinks? Like I don't want to touch you people. There was a guy who, so many people, like during the pandemic, all through 2020 and the last half of 2020 and 2020, all through 2020, they want to like shake my hand and pat me on the back. I'm like, have you people been outside? Have you talked to people? Have you seen what's going on? Don't fucking touch me. Gross. Leave me alone. Drink your fucking sample and buy your bottle. Don't touch me. Gross. Had a guy, it was April of 2020. Like the pandemic is fucking full blown going. People are dying left and right. Planes are falling out of the air, buildings bursting into fire. All hell is breaking loose. Dogs sleeping with cats, cats sleeping with lions, lions eating mice. It was crazy. I go to get a bottle of whiskey at Specs, a bottle of whiskey and a mixer, and I'm waiting in line, and I go set my stuff down. Like the person in front of me is done. I go up to the counter, put my stuff down. The next guy in line comes right up behind me, like right up behind me. I could feel his cock through his pants rubbing against my leg, right there, breathing on my shoulder. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? People are. So, I let him check out so I could get. Yeah, I don't want to be anywhere near you. Do you understand personal space? Do I need to hit you with a hula hoop? The mask and gloves were a visual representation of keep your. I firmly believe 6 feet was far more effective than a mask. Far more effective. Like, be 6 feet away. I am a big fan of being 6 feet away from me. so, so much of the safety stuff was theater. But 6 feet, I'm 6 feet from you, you're 6 feet from me. That's 12 total feet. That's good. That's a good 12 feet. Leave me alone. Stay over there. We're good. We're good. We're real good. Um, yeah, I don't know how effective the mask was by itself. I don't care. I firmly believe that being 6 feet away from me was far more effective than wearing a mask. Just if I can reach, if the two of us can reach out and touch each other, you're too close to me in a store. Thank you. I appreciate that. Step back one step. I'll take a step back too. It's cool. I don't want to. I don't want to rub up against you. Get out of the way. Just I'll wait over here while you fiddle fart around in the middle of the fucking aisle. I'll just wait. Do what you need to do. I'll wait. It's cool. It's cool. I hate going to the store. I hate it. I hate it. I hate going out to the stores. I hate going out in public. I hate crowds. I hate crowds. I like hanging out with people, but I absolutely hate crowds. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, okay. It's late. It's time for me to go to bed. It's what is it? 1:40? It's shit. Jesus Christ! I got to get up at 7 o'clock. I got to drive to Dallas tomorrow. I am driving to Dallas tomorrow. I'm leaving at 10 o'clock in the morning and driving to fucking Dallas. I've got an appointment at 7 to get my car looked at because I've got to fucking check engine light. And then I'm loading up the family. Not loading up the family. Loading up the whiskey. Loading up the whiskey. Loading up the van. Driving up to Dallas. We're going to go to some Specs and some Total Wines. And we're going to slang some whiskey. We're going to sell some shit. We're going to sell it all over the state. Give me a good time. Good time. Men want to be me. Women want to be with me. Humans are some of my favorite people. Without question, Commander Lou. Humans are absolutely some of my favorite people. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that I like all people, because most people I don't. But individual persons, I'm a big fan. Individual and even in groups, I'm not going to lie. Like groups of people can be awful, but groups of people can be fucking amazing. They like we can as a group of humans, we can do amazing things. We can do we can literally as organized groups of human beings, we can literally confront evil. We can confront evil and stop it. We can help people who need help. We can solve problems that seem to be intractable to any one person, but you put 3, 4, 5 million people on that task, and it suddenly becomes easily accomplishable. Like one person can paint a house in a week, but 10 people can paint a house in a day, and 1 million people can paint 1 million houses. It's an amazing thing what humans can do as an organized group of people. You know, we can be builders, we can be warriors, we can be politicians, we can be statesmen, we can be thinkers and philosophers and accountants and engineers and we can do all kinds of things. We're capable of this wide variety of things that we can do. And we can choose what to do. We can destroy, we can build, we can create, we can eliminate, we can do all of this stuff. And if we come together as like-minded people, we can literally build a tower tall enough to touch the face of God. And that gives me absolute hope in humanity. Because we can do this. We can do things. We can do things that we thought were impossible. And history is littered with things that we thought were impossible that humans did. To this day, we think they're impossible. To this day, we look back and we go, how did those people build those temples on the sides of mountains? How did those people build homes on the side of cliffs? How did those people walk from there to there? How did those people build pyramids? How did they build hanging gardens? How did they build Machu Picchu? How did they build uh, Göbekli Tepe? How do they build all these things and these amazing? How do they build Stonehenge? How do they do that? Not realizing that if you have enough people and enough time, you can literally do anything. If you give me a fulcrum and a lever that's long enough, I can move the universe. That's what humanity can do. And that gives me eternal hope that we're not doomed to extinction. We are an amazing group forged in the hearts of stars that exploded billions of years ago so that we can be today. Amazing. Amazing. You're a miracle. You are a miracle. Your existence is against all odds. I find that to be amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, on that note, I'm going to say good night to y'all. Continue to be awesome to each other. Live up to your fucking potential. The universe is there. Live up to your fucking potential. Be awesome to each other. Continue to be awesome to each other. Find somebody you haven't been awesome to yet and be awesome to that person. Astonish them. You never know what will happen. Cheers, everybody. Good night. We'll see you all probably later this week, possibly later this week, but definitely next week on Wednesday. Cheers and good night.